Hey everyone, welcome back to the WA Filmcast. I'm Dan, and today we'll be talking about one of cinema's longest standing and greatest heroes, none other than the great 007 James Bond himself. Now recently, Aaron Taylor-Johnson was offered officially the role of the enigmatic super spy. So today we're going to cover all things our favourite Bond films, our favourite Bond theme songs, as well as girls, gadgets, and much, much more. So sit back, relax, pour yourself a dry martini, shaken, not stirred, of course, because this one is going to be a doozy. I'm joined today by Scott Kunesch, a great writer-director. Scott, thanks so much for coming on the pod.
No worries, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Cheers. You almost fucked that up as well. It was a really good intro until the end.
I was struggling there. Yeah, kind of started fumbling a bit.
All right. James Bond. We all know him. We all love him.
We love him dearly.
Why do we love him? Why has he stuck around so long in the pop culture?
Because great cars, gorgeous girls, action, and just suave coming out the nose. Like he's just built for it. He's exactly as that famous line, all men want to be him, all women want to be with him. It's like that's
quintessential Bond. That's
quintessential Bond, exactly.
Awesome.
And now this young man here, Mr. Aaron Taylor-Johnson, look at him, gorgeous.
Yeah.
He's officially been offered the role.
I know, crazy. I tell you what, when I was in the cinema, I think I was 21 years old watching Kick-Ass. I did not see this guy as James Bond.
Not even for a second.
Fast forward 10 years, whatever it's been. I see it. I actually don't think it's bad. I think it's a great inspired choice.
I do as well. And I think it's funny, if you look at all of the previous Bonds throughout the years, they've got younger looking. Like you look at Sean Connery in the original 1960s Bond, and he already looks very seasoned.
I think that's just to do with like our produce, because men are just aging better these days. I don't know. Like
that's a fair point, because he was how old was Sean Connery?
So that's the crazy thing. 23 years old in Dr. No.
Fuck off.
That's how old people were looking in the 50s. Yeah.
He was 23.
No, sorry, that's an incorrect fact.
Okay.
That's me going for humor.
Okay, I was dead set there. No. I was like 23.
Well, that's a wise-looking 23-year-old.
Very well. He had the wrinkles on
wrinkles
on the forehead and just those classic looks.
If I'm correct, and this could be misinformation, because we don't do a lot of research on this pod. It's more of just an informal conversation.
It's free flow.
But I believe Aaron Taylor-Johnson he's 33 years old. He's the second youngest Bond, George Lazenby being the youngest. So traditionally, the Bonds are like mid-30s to late 30s when they get their first movie. Then they basically, by the time you know them, they're well into their 40s when we get to movie 2, 3. And I mean, that's why Roger Moore, he got up to what, like 58 or 59 or something.
He was pushing when he was doing it, 100%.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's too early to jump into this, but he is probably my favorite Bond.
Oh, we're doing it right. We're talking favorite Bonds?
I think we'll jump right into favorite Bonds.
You've showed your cards now. I'm just going to say mine is Timothy Dalton.
Okay. No, fair call.
And I grew up with Pierce Brosnan, and I'll explain the transition later down the road.
All right, cool. We'll talk about the transition later. I think what we should really jump into first is Aaron Taylor-Johnson's kind of film history.
His ascent.
And his ascent and
his climb.
He's climbed to greatness.
Let's be honest. James fucking, like, he's made it.
Yeah.
Like, that's now, you're not just like a great actor doing great stuff. Like, now you're in history.
Yes. And that's like a career, like, made.
There was a great quote. I can't remember who said it, but they said that more men had been on the moon than played James Bond. Like, that's how much of an honor it is to be James Bond. Yeah, exactly.
That is actually a pretty amazing fact.
Really cool, yeah.
And he's the next one in line. And I think it's
Look at him. Just 1,000-mile stare.
He's stunning.
Colgate smile.
And he's got range. And that's what kind of I'm excited about for him for the role, because I feel as though during the Daniel Craig era, there was a real lean into Bond's very serious side, very grounded, very gritty, very real. Yeah. Whereas I feel as though Aaron Taylor-Johnson has the range to do that grounded stuff, but with some levity and a little bit of comedy. And
now, what direction do you think they're going to go? Do you think they're going to go grounded, realistic, gritty? Or do you think we're going to go back to the fun, gadgetry, the hijinks?
See, I'm genuinely hoping that they're going to go back to fun gadgets, crazy cars, all of the classic kind of Bond energy.
Do you think Aaron Taylor-Johnson translates to that?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
I think he can carry a scene where, you know, the villain has Bond captured and it's very tense and you almost feel as though Bond's not going to make it. I feel as though he can carry that, but at the same time, I feel as though he'd be great, in a conversation with Q about some silly gadgets, and he's making, quippy jokes about silly ways he could use it, and Q's trying to shut him down a little bit. Like, I think he can do both very, very well. Whereas I felt as though Daniel Craig's Bond was all serious kind of all the time.
Daniel Craig's Bond was definitely like, they wanted to examine Bond as a human, like as a person.
Yeah.
He was the most internal self, like analyzing Bond we've ever had.
Yeah.
This guy got emotional. He actually thought about his actions. Whereas I've always known Bond traditionally to be someone who's like, I could die any day. I'm going to enjoy every day as if it's my last. Women, food, fast cars, he was the man who was just had his finger on the pulse of life.
Well, it was very hedonistic.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, in a fun way. And I love that. I find that to be the most entertaining Bond.
Yes.
I don't know if it's the best version of Bond. Like, I actually gravitate towards the more grounded, gritty aspects of Bond. Like, I like to know there's an intensity to Bond and that this guy kills people. Like, this guy, I don't know, I like to believe that he can put down these bad guys. Sometimes I watch the Bond and he's on the roller skates going, slipping on bananas. And I'm like,
the campness can absolutely get very out of control.
And I think that as a movie is fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the funnest version of Bond for me. As in, I need to believe in the story. Like, if the story doesn't believe in itself, then I find it hard to kind of like the stakes matter. Yeah.
See, and I think that's why, Pierce Brosnan was such a strong Bond, because he, I think, walked that line between the silliness and the gadgets and the almost comedic campy aspects of Bond, but he still was able to bring that serious note in when he needed to.
So in my humble opinion, I think Pierce Brosnan was probably the best Bond, like who encapsulated what Bond is. He had some of the most uneven movies, as we all know.
Yeah.
They can be a lot of fun. I think he was a great Bond in some pretty subpar films.
Agreed. And it's strange because, his first title as the character Goldeneye was so strong on so many levels and was, filled to the brim with excellent performances and really good actors.
Are you familiar with the director of Goldeneye?
I'm not.
Okay, so Martin Campbell is the director.
Yep.
He also directed Casino Royale. So this guy has kickstarted 2 James Bond franchises very successfully with arguably the best movies in their franchises.
Yep.
I have a theory, and I've often said this. I actually think James Bond is only as good as the director attached to the film.
Okay.
I think it's all like even Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think he could potentially be a great James Bond.
Yeah.
Some pretty lackluster films. We don't know who's directing these things yet. Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
And I think people get really excited about who James Bond is. I think people should get more excited about who the director is.
Yeah.
Who the writers are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
who's putting this together?
Sometimes I feel like,
because it's how you use an actor and how you use their skills and abilities. And sorry, what was his name? The director of GoldenEye?
Martin Campbell.
Well, he very clearly understood how to use both Brosnan and Craig to really great effect, because they were both.
Well, I mean, this is the guy who directed The Mask of Zorro, so the guy knows his shit. All right,
he's pedigree.
Yeah, he's an established force now.
Because, like, I think particularly with GoldenEye is you've got some really established, quite big actors in that film that do a lot. Whoa, all right.
Sorry, I had to do it.
Gorgeous.
I was just going to keep drinking that all conversation otherwise. So.
No, I'll top you up. But yeah, I'll see if I can do it while I keep talking.
Yeah, no, please.
But you've got a lot of very, very strong and very recognizable characters as well. But it never feels distracting or the performances never feel like underwhelming or anything like that. It all feels very strong and very measured.
I'm curious. Like, disagree with me if you disagree.
Yep.
Agree if you do. I don't think there's ever been a bad Bond. I think there's been Bonds that we've been a bit like, okay, actually, sorry. I'm going to caveat George Lazenby, not a fan. I think he's not that great.
He's probably the weakest.
What I love about the Bond franchise is I don't think there's a bad Bond. I think when we go forward in time, we've always looked back favorably. And that's what's so fun about Bond is that there's a Bond for everyone.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the actors, as in the guys who play Bond.
Okay.
I don't think everyone goes, oh, who's going to be the next Bond? Is he going to be good? I don't think there's ever been a bad Bond, like where it's been such disastrous casting.
Yeah. No, I think that's
like Nicki Minaj has never been cast as Bond. Like, so we need to just calm down.
And
like, they know what they're doing. Yeah. And you know what? I disagree. Because I see something in Nick. No, we can move right past that. That's not a real thought.
God, could you imagine? Oh, like, look, for me personally, my least favorite Bond film is from one of my favorite Bonds, and Quantum of Solace, Daniel Craig. I thought that was really quite weak.
Any redeeming qualities to that film? Because Quantum of Solace is such a middle of the road film for people, where it's like, okay, so not to knock the editor, that film is edited horrendously.
Okay,
it's like the opening sequence with the cars.
Yep.
It's like an epileptic fit. Like it's so hard to get like situated into like what's happening. Like it's just like door, this, hit, pedal, think, no idea what's going on.
It's rushing. It almost feels like.
And coming off the masterpiece that is Casino Royale, which is, in my opinion, I honestly think it's one of the best action films of the 21st century.
Yep.
It's just such a disparating, like kind of, it's such a letdown.
Yeah.
And I think that's what hurts it the most. Like, is that the fact that it was the sophomore film?
Yes.
If you had some more films in between, I think it'd be looked on more favorably. Because I actually think Daniel Craig.
My name.
I know. I actually think Daniel Craig puts in a great performance as Bond in Quantum of Solace.
Yeah, see, that's like, I can't fault his work on it. And I think that's it, is like he was let down. Like even by the writing, and
it was the writer's strike. You're aware of that?
No.
Okay, so that happened during the writer's strike.
Yeah,
the machinery was already moving. The film was getting done. Daniel Craig actually wrote portions of that script,
right?
Which is why we have some of the key sequences in that film. Now, I imagine he probably had some great input, but there's a lot of these films where it's so easy for the general populace to be like, how hard is it to make a good film? But the thing is, in the background, like your writers are on strike.
Yeah,
there's hundreds of $1 millions. Like you have to, the sets have been built. You've only got access to this location for these 3 weeks. You've got to shoot. It's like
there's so
Quantum
many
of Solace is actually a pretty decent film for what it is.
Yeah,
it's also a shit James Bond film, and I agree, very low in my ranking.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's something, for a lot of different projects as well, not just James Bond films, but people kind of forget about, is like something you expect to be quite good can fall flat, and it's not always just like shitty director, bad script. It's like there are so many extenuating circumstances that go into the creation of a film.
It's such a collaborative process. I mean, we all had high hopes for Annie, the musical with Jamie Foxx.
We were waiting,
and didn't that let us down? I mean, the world was silent with anticipation. And that's just another factor of, you know what? A few key things went wrong, and Annie is now the movie we all know and despise.
And we'll never watch again.
I watched the other night. It's all right. Hold on.
It's all right. Yeah, it's all right.
I've never seen Annie. Carry on.
I didn't even realize Jamie Foxx was in an Annie film.
Jamie Foxx has got his fingers in some pies.
He does whatever he wants now, doesn't he?
Well, okay. I'm just going to real quick, and then we're going to bring it back to James Bond.
Derail it.
So, Tropic Thunder?
Yes.
We all love the... well, I don't know if we all love it, but I personally love the Robert Downey Jr. great little joke.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx did a film. It's called All-Star Weekend.
Mm-hmm.
He plays a racist white man. Robert Downey Jr. plays a Mexican cop. There's a bunch of celebrities who all basically do different ethnicities.
It's like race swap it.
And he filmed it. Jamie Foxx directed this thing. And it's been shelved now because people watched it and decided, we cannot release this because we have active careers. Look this thing up on the internet.
So it exists.
Look up All-Star Weekend by Jamie Foxx and just tell me this isn't the film that you want to see. And can we get like 1 billion subscribers to release this thing?
Yeah, surely.
Do a petition. Because anyway, sidetrack, but while it was in my head, you got to look this thing up, read about the synopsis. Every creative choice was wrong. James Bond. What a guy.
And
I love his values. I love his missions.
Especially the way he treats women.
And here's something I love about James Bond. He often does the missions that are impossible.
Kind of like another titular. See, okay.
Jason Bourne.
That reminds me.
Yeah.
I was looking at a list. I believe it was Vanity Fair. Don't quote me on that. They were talking about other people who could have played James Bond. And for some insane reason,
who is it?
Tom Cruise was in the list. And I was like,
this is before Mission Impossible, right? He wasn't going to have 2 franchises going at the same time.
No, I mean like recently.
Wow. So they were actually considering him for the next guy.
I don't think they were. I think Vanity Fair was considering him as the next guy.
Well, Vanity Fair, no offense, you're not a production company. Stay in your lane.
Exactly. But I was like,
Vanity Fair, bless him.
Tom Cruise is, the guy from Mission Impossible. B,
Ethan Hunt,
thank you. he's not British.
Whoa. James Bond is British? Nah.
Yeah.
Do you know what though? Okay. I'm curious. Do you believe James Bond should be British?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Let me rephrase that. Do you believe the actor should be British?
Yes.
Okay, so if they can pull off a convincing British accent,
Yep.
like they are more British than a British man.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. When I heard that they announced Aaron Taylor-Johnson to have officially been offered the role, I actually didn't know he was actually from the UK because I'd only seen him.
He was American.
I thought he was American.
And this is what I'm saying. Like, don't you think? Because I've often thought this. They did the same thing with HP, Harry Potter.
Yep.
They were like, has to be a British boy. I don't know why I did that accent. But the whole point is that, like, I feel like you limit casting because I reckon there is an American guy
who could nail it,
who has got a bloody monocle and an English accent ready to go.
Yeah.
And he's like, put me in, coach. I will be Bond. And they're like, can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, like, they're like, sorry, The Rock, but you're American.
But I feel as though it's like, it's for a British character because there's so much of the British identity.
The integrity of
I
get that. Like the culture, the authenticity. I understand all that. But I'm just like, you know, Mel Gibson was offered Bond and turned it down back in the day.
Really?
Was offered it. He could, and he's an Australian, technically an American.
See, it's weird. An Australian, I would prefer. George Lazenby was an Australian who played Bond.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of more okay with an Australian. This is such a horrible reasoning.
Super racist.
Super racist. But it's just like
nationalist. Racist. Is it racist?
It's more nationalism. Yeah. But I think you know we're a Commonwealth country. But look, that opens you up to like an Indian James Bond. You know. But I mean, look,
there's a Bollywood James Bond out there. I guarantee you there is. It's
just
like, called something different.
But I mean, like, you know, I love the idea of Idris Elba. I thought Idris Elba would be a really strong candidate for James Bond. He's a bit older.
Thank you.
Now.
I love the guy. I think he would have slapped in one movie.
Yeah.
Get up to movie 2, and I'd be like, well, it's time to retire that Bond.
Exactly. Yeah. He's certainly getting. I think this is a better choice.
The fact that this man is 33 years old excites the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Because we might get up to 6 movies, and by the 6th movie, we might not be in a View to Kill territory where we're 98 years old. And that excites me because that's some longevity. There's a generation now that this will be their Bond.
Exactly.
Up until a point where it's not embarrassing.
Yes.
Like they can still be enjoying him mid-20s.
Yeah, totally. 100%. And I think he'll be able to carry it as well for that length of time.
I'm so in. Like, you know what's funny? I thought I was done with James Bond, as in, like, I didn't care. I still, when they announced this, I was like, ooh, the possibilities. Like, no, I got excited. And I was like, I'll be there.
See, I think that's the thing every time with James Bond is like, you know, I feel as though with some other big franchises, we're getting quite tired. So like, you know, Marvel, for example, it's like people are really starting to hit that point where it's like, man, there is a lot going on here.
Pixar's Cars.
And well, there you go. It's like I've seen Lightning McQueen enough. But because they're able to change the actor, but the essence of the character is the same, but each actor gets to put their own twist and feel on it, it stays fresh.
Well, that's part of the fun of James Bond. Is everyone gets to project their shit all over these films. Like wherever you are in your life, I just went through puberty then. Wherever you are through your lives, that's your James Bond. Yeah. And it's like, I think that's so cool that like your son can debate with you over why he's James Bond's better than your James Bond. Yes. And you're like, my dad's James Bond with this James Bond. And there's just such this nice kind of like cross examination of the character and the history of the franchise.
Exactly.
I mean, it's up to what? How many films? Right now, top of your head. And what you say is fact and gospel. And if you don't know your facts, you're discredited and people won't take you serious.
I think there is like...
Colby, can you just look up how many films there are? So
I already know.
All right, cool. Please put it out
there. According to Rotten Tomatoes, it is 27.
So I was going to say that is great. No, but 27 films.
A lot of movies.
27 films, 18 Bonds. That's a lot of Bonds. That's a lot of films. Lot of Bonds. Also, not 18 Bonds. How many is it, Colby?
Oh, I have to look.
Okay. Well, I'm going to assume it's 7.
Yeah, I
think
there's 7 Bonds.
You can almost say it's 007 Bonds.
Oh, very clever. I see what you did there.
There are, in fact, 007 Bonds.
And do you know who the missing Bond is?
Who's that?
I bet you can't guess who the missing Bond is.
Aaron Taylor-Johnson?
No. I mean, I don't know if it's 8 including him, but there is. Do you remember a film called Casino Royale in the 60s, which was like a parody?
Yes.
Thing? Yeah. I believe there's. I can't remember the actor's name, so forgive me, actor. But he also played Bond.
Well, that was I think that was like 62 or something. It was way before Sean Connery played James Bond for the first time.
No. I think it came after.
Really?
I think so. I mean,
Because I know Casino.
Colby,
I know Casino. Yeah.
Could you please find out if Casino Royale, the comedy version, came after Casino?
See, I didn't know it was a comedy. I
no,
knew it had
Dr. No.
happened. But
Yeah.
After Doctor No.
Yeah. Have you seen it though?
no.
Wow, you got to watch this thing. You'd
Alright.
you'd love it. It's like
Alright,
Austin
cool.
Powers if it wasn't funny.
Really?
Yeah, like it's amazing because you're like, wow, all the sets and the costumes and tell a joke. Like I'm here,
You've gone to all this effort.
I'm ready.
You might as well say something funny.
Yeah.
I have your answer. Doctor No came out in 1962, and the parody one of Casino Royale, 67.
Wow.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I am the foremost on James Bond. I know all the things about the Bond.
I concede.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right. I see. I always. No. See, I think I'm getting confused. I think it was when I originally saw Casino Royale and I was like, oh, there was actually another Casino Royale made. But I always thought that was actually the first Bond film ever made, but it wasn't. It was Dr. No.
Yeah. And yet, ironically, Casino Royale, chronologically, is the first James Bond story.
There you go.
Weird how licensing works. I mean,
it's so strange.
have you ever seen Never Say Never Again?
No, I have not.
And you know, that's the unofficial, it's like the remake of Thunderball.
Thunderball, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's the same basic premise. They brought back Sean Connery, and it was a guy who, it was like a producer or a writer. I forget how it was. Basically, the story is he was attached to the original project enough that he had the rights to remake that story based on the book, not remake the film.
Oh.
And he got Sean Connery, and they did it. And it's, you know how every James Bond starts with like an opening song?
Yeah.
So this film can't do that. So it does its own thing. And it's pretty awkward.
What does it do?
It does music.
Yeah.
And it has some title cards and it shows some marshland. And it does not feel like you're about to step into a Bond film. And then you see Sean Connery and you're like, but wait, that is Bond.
Hold on a minute.
You got to watch this thing. It actually will mess with your head.
What year was it made?
Like 83, 82.
Whoa,
something
so
like
it
that.
was like...
Well, this is when he retired. And then they brought Sean Connery back because it was like, that's what gave it credibility. People were like, oh, it's Bond.
Oh,
like,
it's
Roger
OG
Moore,
Bond.
good on you, but it's Bond.
Sorry.
Yeah.
See, because that I think is a big thing for a lot of people is...
It's whoever got there first.
Yeah. Sean Connery is the Bond you think of when you think of James Bond.
Not me.
Pierce Brosnan?
Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah. Yeah. No, because that's your...
Okay,
Yeah.
but here's my argument, right? You grab any of the scripts of Bond. Think, I personally think if you put Timothy Dalton in any of the scripts of Bond, great movie, instantly. Like, great movie, classic. Because he brings an intensity to the role that I just love. It just, like, that to me is masculinity that
He was an interesting Bond,
I get
for
what,
sure.
yeah, like he is, I don't even know if he's that handsome. I'm a guy, so I don't know how to really rate guys, but
He's
I'm like,
pretty cute.
I look at that guy and I'm like, you're just like this intense Shakespearean theater actor.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have the charm where it's like, hello. He's like, hello, get into bed with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, calm
Whoa,
down.
whoa.
Like, she's cool. She's happy.
Because he wasn't in that many of them, though. He only had 2 or 3.
Boss.
Yeah, 2.
As the Mexican people would say.
Of course.
Yeah.
Bueno. Muchos gracias. Yeah, so he only had 2 films, which, look,
arguably the 2 best films in
the whole series,
in my opinion.
Because what did he have? He had His
Living
Majesty's...
Daylights. No, he had the Living Daylights and he had License to Kill.
License to Kill.
License to Kill
Yes.
was the one where basically Lethal Weapon had just come out.
Yeah.
And I love James Bond because it's such a reactionary franchise.
Yeah.
So Star Wars comes out, Moonraker. Lethal Weapon comes out. We've got License to Kill, where he goes to the Americas and takes on a Mexican drug cartel.
There you go.
I love
Finger on the
James
pulse.
Bond because James Bond, bless it, is never a trendsetter. It's a trend follower.
Yeah.
But it has the money and the notoriety of being James Bond, so it tends to do it really well.
They can do whatever they want,
But
basically.
I mean, if James Bond, if they had a movie lined up right after Wall-E, I guarantee you James Bond would be walking around a scrapyard looking at stuff, being like, James Bond. Like, they like to follow whatever's big.
The Bond girl was just an orb.
Which should be Eve.
There you
should
go.
Be the white robot.
The other robot. See, it's one of those strange things with Bond where it's like every generation has its own Bond, and its own Bond is absolutely informed by the other films in that generation. But it also makes me wonder, like, when Bond got, particularly in the Roger Moore era, where things got really weird, like you've got Jaws, who's one of the main villains in that era, who was very, like, recognizable and identifiable. You know, his whole kind of.
So just to explain,
Yeah.
I'm the least familiar of Roger Moore.
Okay.
Just so you know, so I might get a little bit quiet here because I don't have a lot to say.
4.5 minutes left.
Cool.
Thank you, Colby.
Cheers, Colbs. So Jaws, I'll wrap this up. But Jaws, for that particular moment, was a guy who had metal teeth and could bite through metal.
Makes sense. You got metal teeth, yeah.
And then
checks out.
it checks out. And then he gets chased into space by Bond. And then Jaws ends up falling in love with a girl on a space station and decides that he's no longer evil because he's in love with it. Like it just.
Well, I think we've all decided we're no longer evil when we meet the right woman.
It gets really, really weird.
And see, that's my impenetrable. Like, I feel like if I grew up with Roger Moore, I'd be all over it.
Yeah,
I kind of saw like Austin Powers before I saw Roger Moore, so I just look at it and I go,
because that's where all the jokes.
Like, I've seen The Spy Who Loved Me,
yeah,
and I love it with the fortress and the ocean.
Yeah.
But I'm literally like, oh, that's Austin Powers. Like,
it's highfalutin Bond.
Like, I get Austin Powers now.
Exactly.
It's like when you see a Family Guy reference, you're like, oh, that's the movie. Do you know? Like,
that's where
as a
it's
kid,
from.
you're just like, that was random. Then, like 20 years later, you're like, ha, Shawshank reference.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Oh, all right, we'll take a quick break and then we'll jump back into it.
No worries. Sounds good.
All right, welcome back. So I thought we'd jump into now a little bit of Aaron Taylor Johnson news and just his pedigree as a filmmaker. And I'm going to start it with probably one of his lesser known works, but something that honestly for me was the thing that made me believe is like, it was the first thing I thought of when I was like, yes, he can do Bond. He's going to be able to pull this off. And it was a movie called The Wall.
The Wall.
Have you seen The Wall?
Does The Wall have John Cena in it?
It does.
And is there a sniper trying to kill them?
Yeah, there is a total of 3 characters in this movie.
I have not seen The Wall. I've seen the trailer.
Yep.
So it's worth a watch?
Honestly, it's not by any stretch of the imagination like God's gift to cinema or anything, but I honestly, as a performance for him to show,
so maybe not God, but like the Archangel Michael.
Yeah.
Okay.
Archangel Michael absolutely
I get where you're
deserves
going with this,
deserves that title, and it's like it's an interesting film because it's good because it's like that. There's moments where he gets to kind of have a bit of a laugh and there's a bit of levity, but there's this
this wall.
Yeah. Oh, damn sniper. But it's like do you know what it's about?
Well, okay, and correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
This is just based on the trailer and what I know of it.
Yep.
Couple of Marines
Yep.
are at a wall.
They are.
And a sniper goes, I'm gonna shoot you if you come out from that wall. And they go, better fix this problem. Is that close to
more or less?
There you go.
Now
that was The Wall, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not a giant fan of
walls
or John Cena on screen.
Yeah. So
now,
do you not like John Cena because he's a clown and everything? Or do you not like John Cena because of your inability to act?
No, I don't like John Cena because every time I see him on screen, I'm like, there's John Cena.
I call it the Channing Tatum theory.
Exactly. Yeah. So like the only movie I've really seen where I've been able to suspend that disbelief was when, oh man, I'm drawing a blank now on the name of the film. He plays Peacemaker.
Yeah, it's Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Sorry, The Suicide.
The Suicide Squad. Because I actually quite liked him as that character, but that character was very WWE in a certain way. It was
written to showcase his strengths.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he works well in that character. But the beauty of The Wall is he's in the film for very, very little of it.
Well, you've just spoiled what happens to his character, Dan.
Look, it happens.
Because he didn't just go, I'm out now, I'll leave this wall.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
No, but essentially the nuts and bolts of the film is that Aaron Taylor Johnson.
You know what, sorry, just the more I think about it, Aaron Taylor Johnson and John Cena were in a film together. What a crazy coupling. Yeah. No, it just hit me then where I was like, that's a weird pairing.
It's a really strange pairing. And like, I reckon the budget for this film would have been minimal because it was one location.
It was almost like they had budget for catering, and they're like, hey, well, we got catering, we might as well make a film.
Yeah, we might as well make a film and get John Cena to do it. But Aaron Taylor Johnson, his performance is strong and it's varied, and the interplay between this this insurgent sniper and Aaron Taylor Johnson's character as they're sort of just communicating over the radio is very interesting.
It's got a bit of a phone booth thing going on.
Very phone booth thing.
Phone booth?
I'm very familiar.
I actually love bottleneck kind of films like that. Where
If
it's
it's
just
done
give me
well,
one location, give me some tense dialogue, give me a situation we can't get out of. But how are we going to get out of it? Because that's the driving force.
Exactly.
You know what? Maybe that's what Bond should be. Maybe Aaron Taylor Johnson should be pinned down behind a wall with John Cena taking pot shots. And we're just like, this is your introduction to the new Bond. There's also a woman there, so you can go, oh, we're there.
She's here.
Like, well, I'll have sex after this. But I think that's maybe
And
what
a bartender?
it should. Yeah, and he has a martini. Because he's behind a bar, not a wall. So that's what now we're blending genres.
That's it.
But
and he's comfortable in that role.
Can I make a prediction?
Go for it.
I think because we're due for it almost, and I'm
Yeah.
a bit of like a pessimist.
Cool.
I actually think his first film out of the gate is going to be a bit of a stumble. I see like a 62% Rotten Tomatoes. Like, wow, because the only thing is they have to take a creative swing.
Yeah.
Based on like the trajectory.
Yep.
And I'm also like, how are they going to reinvent Bond? Because they're not going to go back. They're going to go forward. So they're going to do some different stuff.
Yep. We can't have a parkour opening again.
And I see it getting a little bit like Marvel. Do you know what I mean? Like I see it getting a little popcorn, bring the whole family, we're having fun. There's like quippy, I'm almost like the wrong kind of fun Bond where it's like, oh, okay, we're doing that now.
So you feel as though they're almost going to swing too hard back into Roger Moore.
I think it's going to get a bit, no. I'm saying I think it's going to get a bit by the numbers blockbustery. Like, and maybe not, but I'm kind of thinking and I'm like, where are they going to go with this? Because after Daniel Craig, you need to shake it up a bit. Because if we do another Daniel Craig, it's like, what are we doing?
Well, that's it. It needs to be different, and it needs to feel. I suppose that's the trick with Bond, man. Is like they have to ride that line where it's like, yes, this feels like a Bond film in a Bond franchise, but
do you think his Bond is going to respect women?
Yeah.
As in, like, he's not going to see them as disposable playthings. He's going to be like,
well, I feel as though the Daniel Craig Bond in many regards does that as well. Is like they're less objectified.
Because don't you feel like that's some of the... It's not that it's even like, as a man, it's like, haha, yeah, misogyny. I'm just like, I love that he's a bastard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, as in, that's the escapism where it's like, I love valuable people, where you're like, yeah, I mean, you're a spy who goes around killing people who have wife and kids, and they just happen to be the guard at the museum.
They're a henchman. Yeah.
I'm like, this guy's a piece of shit.
He's a bad person.
That's why we love him, because he's also driving a Maserati, and he's the
one dude between
it all on black.
The bad guys and us. Exactly.
And I can just see this Bond being a little bit like
soft.
Bring your grandmother, bring your kids.
Okay.
He's everyone's Bond. And I'm like, he shouldn't be everyone's Bond. He should be a Bond that, like, if you love Bond, you love Bond. And if you don't, you've always been indifferent. So why appease to you now? Do you know?
Well, I think
50
that's
years onwards.
I think that's where it's going to get weird. Is like they're either going to take that big swing and almost a bit of a return to form moment, or they are going to go that route of very safe. Because I think he's a really hard character to write for modern sensibilities because, you're right. There is this very kind of objectifying, suave, but the words toxic masculinity spring to mind.
Shakespeare.
But
you got your like King Lear and all these famous people.
Yeah.
Like, we don't reinvent them. Like some of these characters like have big flaws. They're like Macbeth. We know all these tragic stories and these like kind of self-cannibalizing men. And we watch these and they get remade again and again because they're such great stories and they've got such great themes and characters. And that to me is Bond. When you got like Jason Bourne, Mission Impossible, all these other kind of films that blur the lines with this espionage, globe-trotting, set piece, action, adventure stuff, I just hope that Bond remains Bond.
So do I.
I don't want Bond to be accessible. I want Bond to be directional, where it's like, there's Bond. If you love him, come along for the ride. And if you don't, you never.
It's not for you.
It's still Bond.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why sort of what I'm expecting is fast cars, fast women, lots of drinks,
lots
of gambling.
I have a question, not to throw you up, but what is a fast woman? Because we always do this fast cars, fast women. What is a fast woman? Well, I have to know.
For me, a fast woman in my head is like, there's a scene where Bond plays like poker once.
Okay, and she's already like on the hook.
Next minute, they're just in there, just banging the drum.
Promiscuous.
That's it. Promiscuous.
Promiscuous cars, promiscuous women.
Fast and loose, baby.
Yeah,
she's ready to go. Look, I think that's sort of what I'm expecting from Aaron Taylor Johnson's one. But you're right. That there's a modern sensibility and a modern audience that might not work for.
Just a pattern I see where it's like.
But look, sorry.
No. Please hit me with it.
I think as well. Fuck, it's kind of hard to say this without sounding a little bit like sexist, but Bond is one of those characters that is very squarely aimed at men.
So you would say that Bond is for men what Barbie is for women?
Well, I think
that's the political stance that you're taking, Daniel Court.
I think Barbie is more complex
than Bond. See, I would disagree because Bond is like, whoa, what's going on here? Do you know, like he's got layers. I 100%. Bond is a escapist character. Like
that's it. Exactly.
You're there to have. End of the day, you're there to have fun.
Yes.
We're not watching Bond kill one man and cry for 40 minutes, go to therapy, and be like, "Who am I?"
Exactly. Well, and I think that's where I think for a lot of people who have been into Bond for a really long time, that's where I think Daniel Craig kind of lost a few of them, where it was like. All of a sudden, particularly in the first film, we were no longer having love.
We were watching a man.
Yeah, like he kind of bears his soul. He's very emotional. And then it's like, look, I'm a big supporter of guys being emotional and being in touch with their emotions. But you're right. This is escapism. This is about not about like grounding ourselves in our real problems and things like that, but actually exploring.
Yeah, that's just it. To me, Bond is he's a marquee character, like he's an icon. He's like your Mickey Mouse, Bond. You know what I mean? As in, he's larger than that. So it's like I don't want to peel back the layers and know who Bond is. I want to go on an adventure with Bond.
Yes,
and that's I love this dude. I love the potential. Yes. I'm so in. I'm curious, and it's a great segue because the last Bond, No Time to Die. Yep. I am very curious about how they essentially passed the torch.
Yeah.
And what they did with that film. And I want to know what your thoughts are on that film because it made some choices that not everyone got behind.
It's polarized. Now, remind me. I don't think I've seen. No Time to Die hasn't come out yet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's come out because there's a new Bond.
Because I thought the last Bond that had just come out was Spectre.
No. So you may not have seen No Time to Die? I don't think I've seen it. Wow, can I spoil the last one?
Spoil it, please.
Are you sure?
Yes, I will watch it. I'll still enjoy it for what it is.
Just for the context of this. So, so it's the first ever Bond where they killed off Bond. Like, Bond dies at the end. And that was, a lot of people were like, wait a minute, Bond doesn't die. See, now I feel like maybe you shouldn't have spoiled it for you.
No, but look, see, I think in my head that was always kind of the thing. But they never showed it.
So Daniel Craig, what I mean is that so he had a very much a beginning, a middle, and end, right?
Yes.
They did an experiment with his Bond where you watched him. And so the problem I always had with Daniel Craig's Bond, the last movie, his send-off, is that for me, Bond is always a guy who has been like, he never stops. Like he'll always try and figure it out. He'll wink and smile his way through it. And he basically, because his character chooses to die at the end. Like he basically could survive.
Sacrifice.
I won't tell you the context because I want you to still go.
I'm going to watch it. Yeah.
But and it was just one of those things where I was like, yeah, but Bond, I feel like you'd spend the rest of your life trying to figure out this problem. Like you're Bond. Like you've gotten through so much stuff.
Come on.
Why now are you doing this? And
why give up?
And it was such a just like a. Okay, we went through all that and like they did it, and I was like, I applauded them because I was like, cool, big risk.
Yeah.
And now that's why I'm like, this new Bond, you can't go back, like reset, go on again, but dun 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 dun. And I'm like, they have to do something different.
You see, I think the thing that is, it's almost unspoken throughout the entire franchise is that every time there is a new Bond, is like, for example, his name isn't James Bond. His name could be like Jefferson or Mark Craig or whatever, but it's like, when you get that title of 007, they also give you a fake name because otherwise he'd be the shittest
Okay,
spy in the world to walk around and go, "My name's Bond,
No,
James
that's
Bond."
that's what I love about him, the arrogance.
Yeah, okay.
That's like
Yeah.
calling your shot. That's like I'm going to get a strike and then bowling the ball. You know, like that's.
Yeah.
I actually love that because I've always heard that theory where like it's a
different person every
and
time.
if that is the case, they need to before too many people. I mean, we've lost Connery already.
Yeah.
They need to get the movie like the Bonds and get all the Bonds together for a Spider-Man No Way Home situation. Like that thing will sell. It doesn't matter how bad that thing is. If George Lazenby is the old dog going like, all right, we're getting the team together. You know?
We're getting the band back
Pierce
together.
Brosnan's just looking at Dalton like, you son of a bitch. Like that movie will sell. Like they need to get
I would watch.
How much would you watch the
out of
Bonds?
that film?
It's like they've all, you know, the name's James Bond.
Brosnan,
it's like me too.
Lazenby, Moore.
Oh, it's
Craig,
literally
all of them.
the Expendables marketing, but with Bonds.
Oh,
yeah. That's all. I'm just saying. Like
you could do it.
Yeah, like if you like money, do that. Not critical acclaim, but if you like money, make that movie.
I would absolutely watch that film.
Now, because we have to talk about it.
Go.
Favorite Bond girl. Tell me yours, and I'll tell you why you're wrong.
So, I always forget her name. Oh, she's not really a Bond girl. She's almost more of a Bond villain. But Xenia
from the World Is Not Enough. Oh no, Xenia Onatopp.
Xenia Onatopp.
Oh, Xenia Onatopp.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I think in the same way, I'm trying to be very careful about sort of discussing the toxic masculine parts of Bond.
I used her for sexual pleasure in my youth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where we all were.
We're trying to skirt around.
And it ignited a thing in me where it's like, oh, maybe I do kind of want to be choked a little bit.
Yeah, like you know that great scene where she's at the satellite dish and she's just mowing people down, and she's like, yeah, and I was like, I was watching that at 11, like I don't understand this.
I feel weird,
and I feel like I need to because I'm changing.
I'm going through some changes.
Xenia Onatopp,
man.
I mean, look, we're 90s kids, so 100%. But I genuinely think that's the thing. She's not a Bond girl, so like, what are we doing here? We're talking about villains. But okay, if we're going to talk about henchwomen. Xenia Onatopp. Oh my god! Like
cream of the crop.
Oh my god!
Sweet Jesus.
Like this is a podcast. We're about to have a minute of silence for Xenia. No, but okay. My favorite Bond girl.
Yes.
And this is a bit like it's very recent, but like I just have like a Eva Green. All right.
Oh yes.
Vespa. That's like I just think
gorgeous.
Like not even like the attraction stuff. Like she's a good looking woman, but I actually think her character is one of the best Bond girls in a film.
Yep.
She's also like a catalyst for a lot of stuff that happens in like Daniel Craig's thing. But I went back open-minded, tried to be fair to all the Bond girls. And there's some lookers and they're great.
Yeah.
But I find all of them are pretty paper thin.
They are.
Until we get there.
And that's it, is like I feel as though that there's that objectification of those earlier ones, but it wasn't until really Halle Berry was quite good as well. As like an actress, so she was able to bring a bit more multi-dimensional kind of energy to the soul as Jinx. But no, I think Ava Green as a top to, but she provided a nice twist to the story.
Well, I just think I just think she's one of the great Bond characters.
Yeah, and I think that's it.
Like
it's not even a necessarily a Bond girl thing. It's just like she works great as a Bond girl, but she's also a really strong Bond character.
Their dialogue on the train, when they first meet, is I'm just like, this is great written dialogue. This is performed great.
Yes,
like
it's intriguing,
instantly
it's
likable.
tense.
She holds her own.
Yeah,
it's just I don't know. And I was like, I wish there were more Bond girls like that. Where I'm all for like you come along for the ride and James but like I just wish there were more women with some sense of urgency.
Yeah,
because it's so much. And it's going to sound wrong to say this, but it's so much more enjoyable to watch them conquered by Bond when there's more of a, like, I don't like the fact that he's like, hello, I've just met you, I'm James Bond, and they go, bang. I'm yours.
Exactly.
It's like, I like that. It's like
cat and mouse energy.
It's like, show me him being charming.
Yep.
Show me him being disarming.
Yes.
And then another word that also follows that rhythm. Alarming.
Well, certainly the Roger Moore era.
Well, I'm going to watch some of the Roger Moore films.
Please do.
Because I've been meaning to.
They're so good.
Give me a good Roger Moore to jump in. Like one that I'll watch, go, okay, this is fun. I want to watch the next.
For Your Eyes Only is one of my favorites.
Okay, because I did start with A View to a Kill.
Yeah. Good film as well.
And then I watched The Spy Who Loved Me because I heard that was the best.
That is,
and I enjoyed it. And I kind of got like tonal whiplash and was
check out For Your Eyes Only. Okay. It's a really good Bond. It's got an excellent theme tune.
Oh, theme tunes. All right, you're a music guy.
I am.
I like music. What's the best theme song?
Oh, for a Bond? Fuck. There's not a best one.
Okay, not your best, but what's your favorite? And I'm sort of talking about your gut feel favorite. Like you could sit there and if you analyzed it really, you'd go, you know what, this isn't my favorite. But right now, gun to your head, what's your favorite? Well, like the first thing that comes to your head, what's the one that you just instinctively go to?
Probably For Your Eyes Only again.
Okay, well, there you go.
It's like a really good 80s pop song.
Give us a taste. Give us a sample.
For your eyes only for yours. It's just...
Yeah, okay, that's pretty cool.
It slaps. Check out For Your Eyes Only.
No, definitely. Because that's one of my favorite things about the Bond films.
And it's the thing that everyone should love.
How crazy is that though? Like as much as I love the Bond films, those 3-minute segments when I'm the music, because that almost lets me know if I'm going to enjoy the film. It
sets the fucking tone.
And like the worst one, and I think I don't know if everyone agrees, but I feel like it's universal. And if you don't, you're an idiot. Your opinion's invalid.
Here we go.
But like, now I can't remember. Die Another Day.
Yes.
I hate it. And it's not
another day.
And it's almost because they tried to incorporate scenes from the film into it, and I was like, wow, some of them are hit and miss.
And do you know what else it is? It's too modern.
Yeah, way too modern.
The songs aren't supposed to be
sophisticated
modern.
And a bit of like, a bit of fun.
Good vocals, powerful.
Another day. It's all techno and shit. And by the way, Die Another Day, what a fucking train wreck. And I know it's been said, it's not a new opinion.
I have to say though, I really do enjoy watching Bond use the paraglider on the big wave. That CGI is fucking horrendous. It's so bad.
I actually think there's a good little Pierce Brosnan trilogy in there. Like GoldenEye is so good, right?
Yep.
Then Never Die, Never Say Tomorrow, or whatever the second one is, I forget. But it's fun. Like
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yeah, it has some great action. It's fun, but it's not. It's like after GoldenEye, you're like, And
there's the guy with a bullet in his head that's slowly gonna.
And then the world is never enough. Is like I actually love that film quite a bit.
Yeah,
it's got a bit of a darker take. And it's fun. It's got the right campy. But you got a villain who can't feel anything. Yeah, and they're like, how do we show this? What kind of fun are we gonna have with this ability?
And they don't
we'll get him to hold a hot rock.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then we've done that. And I'm like, man, this guy should have been walking through fire.
Because even when they fight, it looks like he's like, ugh. And it's like, you're not supposed to feel anything.
Why is there not a scene where he's covered in honey being eaten by Americanized honey ants?
And he's just like death staring Bond in the eye. Yeah.
Like cicadas. They're not ants. I've just gone off track here. But
same thing.
Yeah,
I get what you mean.
It's not the same thing.
Some sort of.
Yeah, but I'm just like, it's weird to set someone up with an ability, right?
Yeah.
And then to not use it.
Not let them do anything.
Because you know who else can hold hot rocks? Anyone with a pain tolerance.
Anyone who can hold hot
rocks. I was
a
bit disappointed. And then the other cool thing they do is then they have the woman, I forget her name.
Is it Carmen Electra in that one?
No, well, I can't forget the brunette chick who's the bad guy, really.
Oh, wait, no, I think her name is Electra.
Something like that. On the top of my head, it escapes me. And the other cool thing they show about him is when he touches her and she's like, do you feel me? And he's like, I feel nothing.
I feel nothing.
And I'm like, oh, cool. You're a cool villain. Like, hot girl touching you and he's just like.
I don't feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cold.
It's just weird. That's stuff like that where I go like.
Kind of a wasted moment.
We've made movies. And I think like, you got a lot of time to talk about this stuff and that's it. Everyone was in the room going, we did it.
Nailed it.
Yeah, we'll have him touch a hot rock and not feel things with the women.
Moving on.
Yeah.
See, and that's it. It felt very swept under the rug. Bond theme tunes. What's your favorite? Do you have one that stands out for you?
Oh, so many. So no, okay, you know what? It's so like not even okay. Casino Royale. I actually think because everyone says Skyfall, right, Adele, and like I get that, like it's a big, but I actually think that is such a fun little song. Like,
dude.
Do you know
who wrote that?
I do actually, Bill Cosby.
That's the one.
No, I have no idea. Tell me.
So the guy who wrote that, his name is Chris Cornell. Rest in peace.
Is he dead?
Yeah, he passed away. Wow. He's the lead singer of Audioslave, Soundgarden.
There you go.
He's worked Temple of the Dog.
So you like that song? Because people say it's a bit like,
song.
I actually think it's like, it hypes me up so much.
Yeah,
like, I just love that song. And I'm like, this is such an underrated song.
It's a really good song.
Then I go on the forums for the validation and people are like, nah, that ain't it. And I go, oh, so just me.
Right. Nah, but I think people need to re-listen to that song because it's powerful, and his voice is so awesome. And
I just think it's a fucking fun song. I think it's really fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, some of the older songs, forgive me, I can't remember the bands or the names of the songs, but there's some great songs throughout the thing. But
Live and Let Die, the fucking Beatles did that.
Banger.
Such
Do you know
a
what's
good
funny?
song.
I didn't know that was a Bond song until I'd seen the Bond song. I just thought that was a tune that we listened to at the disco.
Live and Let Die. Banger. Banger.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's some stuff where it's great.
Yeah.
But then you look at the clips, you know, like, the visual kind of stuff that they put with it. And sometimes I'll go like, oh, yeah.
The clip's not as good as the song, or the
like
song's not as good as the clip.
isolation is great, but when I'm like, it's not the one.
Yeah.
And I hate it because I hate saying the new stuff is better than the old stuff because the old stuff is classics. And
it's got its own, but that's it. They all kind of sit in their own region.
Yeah.
And they all have their own unique kind of feel. Because I think as well, a lot of people forget about is that when they're out looking for artists to make the Bond song, is they'll actually ask a few different artists to write something, and then they'll pick one. So Radiohead, they wrote a song for
Radiohead. That's what I think of when I think of Bond.
Now, I know, right? Really weird choice, but they wrote a song for Spectre that I think is better than Sam Smith's.
I'm not a big fan of the Spectre song. I know that's a bit controversial.
I think Sam Smith's Writing on the Wall is a good Bond song. I think Spectre by Radiohead should have been the track because holy fucking shit, it's brilliant.
Just out of curiosity, Colby, what is your favorite Bond film? What's your favorite Bond song? And who's your favorite Bond woman? And Bond? Just for the listeners, just want to bring you into this.
You know exactly my answer. I have not seen any of the Bonds.
So I did know that here. We actually talked about this during the break. wanted to put him in the hot seat.
So you've never seen a Bond film?
No, never seen the Bond films. Have seen the Austin Power films, the parody of Bond films.
Yes, yep.
But the only thing about the Bond films that I'm kind of familiar is those opening tunes.
Yeah.
Well, and I love the Austin Powers films, but watching them is kind of like watching a parody pornography and saying that you've watched Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because the context is very different.
To be fair, though, the Austin Powers films are very based on that Roger Moore.
It's 100% Roger
Bond.
Moore.
It's not any of the other ones.
All right, let's talk favorite Bonds.
Okay.
Let's get into the favorite.
Your
favorite Bond is Roger Moore.
Roger Moore.
And mine is Timothy Dalton.
Yes.
Which I love because they couldn't be any different. Like, they are essentially the two sides of the coin.
They are polarizing.
So I basically like the intense, no fun, gritty. Like, he's not having a good time.
No.
Like, he's at work.
Yeah.
And you love the guy who's like, I'll
minutes.
put in for the overtime. I'm having a great time. You're going to pay me to do this?
Yeah, I'm talking about the guy who got knighted.
What is that? Just out of curiosity. Because, okay, I'm not familiar with Roger.
Yep.
You're probably more familiar with Timothy than I am, Roger.
I've seen Timothy's movies, but
and they did nothing for you, really. Like, watch them and there's
I've seen them all except for No Time to Die, but I've seen all of the other Bond films.
But you've only watched
at
them
least
once,
but just once. Roger Moore's entire Bond series I have seen multiple times.
Okay, interesting. Because I grew up with Pierce Brosnan, and I loved Pierce Brosnan.
Yep.
And that was Bond for a long time. And then I went, I'm going to go back because I know there's others.
Yep.
The next one back is Timothy Dalton. I watched that and I was like, oh, this must be the most popular Bond. This is great.
This is brilliant.
But I was like, this guy's a killer. This guy's serious. Like, this guy doesn't fuck. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Pierce Brosnan's like, our generation for some reason went silly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I was locked in. And it was like these two films.
Little did you know.
Oh, dude. But I was just like, so suddenly those two films, because it's only two as well, it's not very overwhelming to watch these run.
Yeah.
And I would watch them back to back, back to back, back to back.
Great films.
And so a fun thing, The Living Daylights was a script written for Roger Moore.
Ah.
So it's a sillier film with like some silly stuff in it where they shoehorn bloody Dalton into it. So you can picture Roger Moore on this like cello going down the thing.
Yeah.
But Timothy Dalton's like
doing it
trying to hold on for his life. Like he's like, it doesn't matter that he's running a guitar case down a thing. He's like, I'm trying to survive right now. Whereas I can see Roger Moore being like, oh, hold on, dear. You know, like, and that's what I loved about Timothy Dalton is when I watch this guy, like the women, like he'll come up to him and he's like, tell me the thing is I'll kill you. His eyes are so intense. I'm like, calm down, dude. 2-minute warning by Colby, by the way. And I don't know. Because I feel like the films can be fun, but give me a Bond who is like having a hard time trying to figure it out. Like he's afraid of bullets. Like when a bullet hits a wall next to him, he goes, "Fuck, could have died."
Yeah.
I don't want a Bond who goes, "Oh," and then like beer pours out of the wall and he goes, like
very Austin Powers.
Yeah, it's just like I'm having a good time, but I don't buy into the world. And that was always my problem with the sillier Bonds.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
Bring the silly, but let the Bond be real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, fair, absolutely
now,
fair
tell
enough.
me why I'm wrong. Tell me why Roger Moore, I got to get behind it.
Now, look, I'm going to need...
And you've got a minute to do it.
I was going to say, I'm going to need more time than a minute to tell you how much I love Roger Moore. So I tell you what, I will tell you how much I love Roger Moore right after this short break. Cool. All right, now I'm going to jump into why Roger Moore is fucking elite tier James Bond.
Subjectively.
Objectively. No. So, oh man, I left your beard dry. I'm such a shit host.
Well, actually, I just smashed it in the break, but let's go again.
So,
I'm only driving home.
Now, I love Roger Moore because for me, Bond is
a clown.
It's a little bit silly. Yeah, it's a little bit random and a little bit silly. Like I love, he gets into his Lamborghini Countach. That's actually a submarine. Like it's brilliant.
Fun.
It's fun, exactly. And I think, for that sort of a character, it needs to be a little silly and it needs to not take itself too seriously. Now, I agree with your point in that everything around Bond can be silly, but Bond needs to be Bond.
Yeah, I just think Bond needs to be the straight man. Like if Bond's in on the joke, I'm instantly like, there's no stakes.
Yeah. And I think very much so in that, that Austin Powers way where Dr. Evil's son's always like, why don't you just shoot him in the head and then he's dead? You don't
we become that audience surrogate where
exactly.
Yeah.
But I feel as though that works. It's the laser beams on the shark's head. It's the we have to go to space now to solve the problem. It's the Lamborghini Countach.
Fast and Furious went to space. Do you think that was a great choice?
I haven't seen the one where they go to space.
Okay. Well, it was a horrible choice. And I like to think that James Bond was the precursor for it. It's like, don't go to space.
Don't go to space.
Not in your franchises. Like, you know what I mean? Like, unless you're a space franchise, don't go to space.
Moonraker absolutely felt like that as a
Star Wars
Bond
just come
film.
out around it? Yeah. That's reactionary franchise. That's what they do.
100%. And like, did they earn the space movie with Bond? Absolutely not. But
are you happy it exists?
Yes.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't want to live in a world where Moonraker doesn't exist.
You know what? Can I just, real quick.
Go for it.
They should make a horror James Bond film.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like, it's a mission as well, but they should lean into some horror. They should make it an absolutely frightening, terrible James Bond.
Now, so, bit of context. So, my introduction to James Bond was very similar to yours with Pierce Brosnan. Mm-hmm. And love those films. And the reason I kind of got into Roger Moore is that was my dad's favorite James Bond. So he had all of the Roger Moore films on DVD. And, he was like, oh, if you like Pierce Brosnan, let me show you some old school stuff.
I'll show you the original silly
Bond. The OG. And he put Sir Roger Moore's, I don't know what the first one was that I probably saw. It would have been Moonraker, or it would have been The Spy Who Loved Me, or something like that. And immediately I was like, this is really fun. And I think part of it is that nostalgia, but part of it was that I was quite young as well when I was watching those films. So the fun really translated.
And the other thing is, like, what your dad says to you at a young age is gospel.
Exactly.
Like, if your dad loves that Bond, you're going to... Yes. Funny enough, you're going to bond with him over Bond.
Exactly.
And it creates a unique bond.
A very unique bond.
But no, and the thing is, you're not alone. Funny enough, Sean Connery seems to be the safe goat, like the greatest of all time.
Yep.
Roger Moore tends to be the close second.
Yeah.
With everyone else being, which one did you grow up with?
Exactly.
So you're in good company. Essentially, there's either the Sean Connery camp, the Roger Moore camp, and everyone else kind of comes under the umbrella of those two.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's because, they were very standout. It's like some of the other, like who's the Bond after Sean Connery?
George Lazenby,
the Australian guy. So like
this never happened to the other guy.
Yeah, because it's like he kind of blends in, where it's like, he was a Bond.
It's like
but
wallpaper standing in front of wallpaper.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Very exciting to watch.
Whereas when Roger Moore walks in front of wallpaper, you're like, damn, there's Roger Moore.
And I will say this much for Roger Moore. In peak Roger Moore, when he was young and they first cast him, I get it.
Yeah.
I know that guy had he had the suave. Do you know what I mean? I was like, this guy's fun.
Exactly.
He's having fun being a bastard. It's, and he's pulling it off. You can't help but like it.
And he's pretty deplorable in terms of his treatment of the people around him.
That's what I mean. It's just fun to watch because you're just like, only you could pull this off in this circumstance. And that's what makes it fun.
Yes. Yeah. So I think, look, Roger Moore for me is, I'm not going to say he's the definitive Bond because the definitive Bond for me personally is Pierce, but he's just Bond when I felt like they were just taking swings and they felt like they could do whatever they wanted with the franchise. They were never playing it safe. You've got Man with the Golden Gun where you've got...
what's that one about?
That one is about Mr. Scaramanga, who...
Can't just make words up, Dan.
I'm sorry. He's played by...
Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee, yes, and brilliantly so. The man with the third nipple. And then his main henchman was Knick Knack, who is this really short,
super politically correct.
Yeah, and they just took big swings and the Golden Gun and this really quite convoluted story about how I'm getting him mixed up with Goldfinger now because Goldfinger was the guy who wanted to destroy Fort Knox and destabilize the currency.
And that's considered one of the best Bonds.
It is, yeah.
They play golf.
Yeah,
it's a lot. I'm like, golf. How is this the best one? It's fun, but I always watch that and I'm like he's at a pool at a motel and then he goes plays golf. I'm like, this is like what you do when you retire.
But I think that's one of the things that I think kind of work about those older Bond films is that the target audience they were going for.
Exactly. They weren't going for broad appeal. They were going for
the boys,
men basically people who could resonate with Bond. They're like, I'm 40. I like golf
and dry martinis.
Yeah,
100%.
Have you ever had a dry martini?
No.
Yeah, I've only had a wet one.
I don't even think I've had a wet one.
I don't even know what a wet martini would be.
Quite frankly, you put an olive in a drink and it's just a bit insane for me.
Yeah, you put an olive in Fanta. It's not a combination to recommend.
No, and it doesn't matter what glass you drink it out of. It just looks like it wouldn't be tasty. Now, fun tidbit.
Is it fun or is it interesting?
It's interesting.
Okay.
I heard from somewhere, I don't know where, but I've heard through the rumor mill that the reason Bond orders a dry martini shaken, not stirred, is that if you shake a dry martini, the alcohol settles at the bottom of the glass, so that way he can sip his drink, appear to be drinking
without getting the alcohol content.
Never actually getting
drunk.
That
actually is true. When you shake the alcohol, it emulsifies and turns into a gel-like substance.
Oh.
No, I'm just making shit up.
It raises its viscosity.
I just want to sound really smart for 2 seconds and have the listeners be like, whoa. But yeah, I don't know.
No, but I think, look, we'd have to test that. Maybe on another episode we can make dry martinis. I'll drink them shaken. You can drink them stirred, and at the end we'll do a blood alcohol test, and we'll see who's blowing higher on the breatho.
I think that's great. Now, real quick.
Okay,
Bond adjacent.
Bond adjacent.
What franchise do you think is Bond's contemporary? As in Bond's rival the most?
Kingsman.
Okay, I get that it's very homage, but do you honestly think Kingsman is Bond's rival, in the popular set? If people are going, wow, Kingsman's nipping at Bond's heels. We're talking about 2 movies, 2 parody comedy movies.
Okay, not Kingsman. I think Kingsman does a good job of encapsulating sort of the energy of that Roger Moore.
100%.
Older. Yep.
Where I was going with this is your Mission Impossible.
Yes.
Do you think Bond's becoming irrelevant compared to some of these films that essentially do the same thing, just as fun?
I see this, and this is where I become conflicted, because in a Daniel Craig Bond world, they are absolutely in competition with each other. In a Roger Moore Bond world, they are 2 totally separate.
Well, Mission
entities.
Impossible was never going to go down that avenue.
No.
Yeah.
See, and look, I feel as though sometimes it brushes up against it. You've got fucking Tom Cruise holding onto an airplane as it takes off, kind of thing. You know,
brushes up against it. So you're in a busy nightclub and you're trying to get to the bar and you brush up against it.
Yeah, you just like,
sorry,
yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's going to squeeze past you.
Interesting.
Whereas like, and that's why I hope the Aaron Taylor Johnson Bond films, they lean more towards that to help differentiate themselves from the rest of the competition. Because I mean, look, you can put the Bourne films, the Mission Impossible films, and the Daniel Craig films next to each other, and you're right, they kind of tick the same kinds of boxes.
Yeah. I just feel like Bond, like the thing, all right, two of my favorite Bonds, two of my favorite film. I love Casino Royale. I love Skyfall. All right. And they're some of the latest, and I think they're some of the greatest.
Yep.
And I even like separate them from the fact that they're Bond. I just think they're great films in general.
Yep.
So I don't think it's dead. I think it's got a lot of steam, the franchise.
Totally.
I do worry though that like with every reinvention, there's a need to change things just on a principle, like just to do it. And I do feel like sometimes when you reinvent the wheel too many times, you make a square. And I'm just saying, like, I honestly don't think there's been a bad Bond. Like, there's been some things that aren't that great.
There've been some dips.
But I worry about this guy, and I go, it's 2024. Think about how the climate's changed, how we all think differently.
Yep.
And I just think, man, is this going to be the one where Bond comes out and it underperforms? And it gets, and people go, I didn't like, and it's CGI heavy, and it's, and I'm just, and you go, and the director was like not the right choice.
So you're afraid it's almost, it might signify maybe a death rattle for the franchise.
I think Bond is inherently masculine, male, dinosaur, old school, like basically everything we're fighting against now.
Yep.
And I think this 33-year-old strapping man is going to come in, and part of me fears that he's being set up for a fall.
Okay.
Now, I want to be proven wrong. And, look, here's a classic example. Everyone lost their shit when Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker.
They did.
And it was just like, and then we saw it, and it was it made
the guy from Knight's Tale?
No, but it made the most sense.
Yeah.
And, he could come out, right? And we could suddenly go, oh, my God, it's the best Bond ever made. And it always had to be him.
Yeah.
We had to go through 7 Bonds to get to, it's like, it could go that way. But I look at this guy, and I'm like, you're not going to not say yes. They go, you want to be the next Bond? He's like, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I do worry, though, now that we talk about all the history and I'm all excited and nostalgic about Bond, I just think, what are they? No, but ask yourself, what are they going to do that's going to differentiate that word, that's going to make him different than all the other Bonds, all the other films, so that he has his own corner of the Bond sphere.
Yeah.
But is still engaging and still, locks us all in, makes $1 billion, successful. Yeah. I'm like, what are they going to do? Because they're not going to do the same thing.
No, they can't.
He's not going to be a Daniel Craig. He's not going to be a Pierce Brosnan. He's not going to be a Timothy Dalton.
Roger Moore.
He's not going to be a Roger Moore. He's not going to be a George Lazenby. He's not going to be a Sean Connery. And he's not going to be the other guy who we all forget from Casino Royale.
Props for remembering all the names.
I tried to go through the list. It was unnecessary. It was laborious, and it was indulgent.
Worth it.
Yeah. And that's my biggest thing, is that I just think I'm so interested to see 2025, whenever this thing drops.
Yeah.
We're sitting there in cinema. Bloody Billie Eilish sings the song. I don't know who's going to do it.
She's already done a Bond song.
Okay, well then it'll be Taylor Swift.
Oh,
I was born sitting at, it'll be something like that. And then, and I'm just going to go wow. I'm going to literally sit there and go, wow, they did it. They killed Bond. It finally happened.
True.
We got up to movie 28 and it's dead.
So you feel as though this is either going to be a brilliant choice or it could just fucking
how many plates can you
it.
spin for so long without dropping one?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Is what an incredible franchise. And I keep waiting for the other foot to drop. Where
is it the longest running character in cinema history? I can't think of any other franchise that has been running for. It's older than Star Wars.
Well, let's think about it. Let's go through them all. Babe, Pig in the City. That's 2. No, we're not going to do that.
Toy Story 1.
Yeah, Toy Story 1. No. I think
he'd be
Colby. Is James Bond the longest running franchise of all time?
Yeah, let's have a little Google.
Because I actually want to know this now. I'm fascinated.
Yeah, I'm like, is he one of the mainstays of cinema history?
Listener, would you like to learn this fact? And if yes, say yes now. We'll wait.
Say yes, write yes in the comments below if you'd like to know if James Bond is the longest.
Now we're checking the comments. There you go. It's unanimous. We're going to look it
up. Everyone's interested in this.
Everyone's interested.
Because I'm excited to see what he does with it.
I'm so pumped to see it. I'm like, look at that guy. Do you not somehow see tragedy on the horizon? Or maybe that's just me leading the witness, but I just think I look at him and he's so young, so happy, so ready for this. And I think, nah, man, you're going to get the wrong director, the wrong script.
Writer, yeah.
They're gonna make a wrong choice.
Because do you dirty.
All right.
Yeah, so it is not the longest running franchise type thing. The longest running is Sherlock Holmes from 1913.
Oh, another English.
Fact, yeah.
The only other one that I was thinking of off the top of my head was Doctor Who. That released 1 year after No Gun. Or Doctor No, sorry.
Doctor No.
Doctor
So,
No.
okay,
No
so
Gun.
the longest running franchises then are Doctor Who, James Bond, and Sherlock.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So is that because that's all English, right?
They're all British.
Wow.
And the British,
love
at the
a long
moment
yarn.
are like,
Yeah.
more recently, they do like a kind of one and done season
Well, their
kind of
shows
energy.
traditionally, are like 3-4 episodes,
and then done.
and then they have 4-year gap, and then they'll bring back season 2.
Yeah.
The British are, I love a British sitcom you can watch, and you're like, what a great 5 episodes.
Yeah.
They had a story to tell. And then the Americans go, we'll adapt that. 27 episodes stretched so thin. Like, have you ever seen The In-Betweeners?
I have.
Have you watched the American remake?
I have.
Wow.
It's heartbreaking.
And you're just like, you had the blueprint.
Everything, but like everything. And, you know, there's only one example of a British TV show coming to America and doing well, and that's The Office.
Yeah.
Because that
The
was
American
originally-
Office is pretty great.
And like, I totally agree that there are some great arguments for the American Office being better
It is better.
than the British one.
It is better. And I'll tell you why.
Understand. Yes.
187 episodes.
Yeah.
It's
There you
not,
go.
it's literally a quantity thing.
Yeah.
As in, there was just too many highs and too many great iconic moments because excess, because they're American.
Yep.
And America, and everything's bigger in Texas. But like, have you seen the original Office?
I have. Yeah. With Ricky Gervais and yep.
Ultimate cringe comedy. Like,
Yeah.
as in, it does cringe so much better than the American.
So
Makes me
brilliant.
super uncomfortable. I get hot sweats. I
Yeah.
hate it in the best possible way.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you got 187 episodes. That's probably not even the right amount. It's probably something different. But like, do you know what I mean? Like,
probably close to it.
you're going to, you just get to know that. Like, The Office is one of the great watchable series.
Very much so. Well, I think that they do such a good job of making the audience feel as though they're a weird like side character in the show.
And the reason we bring up The Office is because it actually segues into our next Bond question. James Bond goes to an office to get briefing from M, and when he goes to see M, he has to go through Moneypenny. Who's your favorite Moneypenny?
Now, this is embarrassing, but like I actually don't know any of the actresses' names off the top of my head.
Well, here's a fun one. Do you know who's actually been rumor cast to be the new Moneypenny opposite of this week?
Ooh,
Do you know who Tiffany Haddish is?
I have heard the name.
Yeah.
Colby, can you get me a photo of Tiffany Haddish, please?
Yeah, can we get a photo up on the screen? So she's rumored to be the new Moneypenny.
Wow.
Yeah. Again, like it's speculation. She hasn't accepted it, but apparently she's
We'll
the
see.
front runner.
Because I think that's a fairly important role because she's like the only female character apart from when Judi Dench was M, who was like, just like, no, Bond, I'm not falling for your bullshit.
Here you go, Dan.
Here we go. Ooh, yes, I do know who that is, and I can see it. Yeah,
Okay.
Moneypenny.
And
Beautiful.
now that we've invested all that time and energy, I made all that up. That's incorrect.
Oh,
I didn't hear that from anyone. So
well, maybe we're gonna.
I would like to think that if she does get cast, I had something to do with that.
yeah,
And also,
can
don't
see
do
that.
that. I think that's the wrong choice.
you think?
I think that's the wrong
Tiffany
choice.
Haddish
In
the wrong
opposition to-
choice.
Yeah, not because of the interracial thing, just because. no, but just because I think it's the wrong choice.
It's
totally.
the wrong
Yeah,
choice.
yeah.
Well,
Like,
okay. Do you know who I could see? This is actually something I wanted to talk to you about.
Rosie O'Donnell. I'm
Is
right there with you.
Rosie, exactly.
Yeah.
That's where
Bring
we're
her
going.
back. Bring her back hard.
Put her on
Money
screen.
penny, sexual tension.
Let's go.
Throw him against that table. Sorry, John Goodman, but I'm in Bond's territory now.
Because I want to know who do you think is going to be the Bond girl
Well,
for Mr. Aaron Taylor
remind me what
Johnson?
his name is. I've had a few.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Okay, Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think we need to get Anna Taylor.
Joy.
Yeah, as the Bond girl. Because how good would that look at in the marquee? Do you know what
Yeah,
I
it
mean?
would. She's got quite striking features as well.
She also likes to say yes to a role.
And she's a good actress.
She is a good actress. But no, that'd be a bit of fun. Do you know
Yeah.
actually who I think the Bond girl will be? That's a great question. Who's hot right now? Not aesthetically, but like career-wise.
Florence Pugh.
Sydney Sweeney.
Oh.
The only problem is her inability to act good.
See, that's my problem with. But
She's quoted as saying she wants to be in a Martin Scorsese film, and I went, adorable.
That's cute.
No, like have aspirations.
Yeah.
You have to as a human being. It's part of the experience.
And crazier things have happened.
Yeah.
Jonah Hill is in Martin Scorsese films.
Yeah, and you know what?
That he's a bad actor.
He is, but he's a pretty good actor.
Yeah.
Then again, he also had double Ds. So I don't know. I don't know what Martin's looking for.
Can go either way there.
Sorry, Jonah. I know you've lost the weight, and it's
No,
irrelevant. And I don't body shame because you know what?
That's not what we're here for.
It's not what we're here
It's
for.
not what
That's
we
not
do.
on the curriculum.
I can't body shame.
I'm better than
anyway.
that. I'm better than that. Well, that's true. Yeah, I'm not in my peak physical condition.
Because I think Sydney Sweeney would be a good pick if the Bond girl was going to be more traditional, like Roger Moore
Just a
Bond
sex
girl.
pot.
Yeah, just like a bit of an
She
object.
won't be. Honestly, she's going to be a fully dimensional 3D.
Exactly. She needs to be.
She won't be. She'll be.
But that's why I feel as though Florence Pugh would be a really good
Florence Pugh would be pretty great.
pick because she's got the acting chops, but she's also gorgeous.
But she's also overexposed.
That's true. There's a lot on her. They'd have to make her more of a
it's hard.
character
It's
than
like
a Bond
because
girl.
Bond girl is such a how do I explain it? It's not even about who is necessarily the right Bond girl. It's about
Who looks best
like
on camera.
what's the song? Who's the
Yeah.
Bond girl? You know, like
Yeah.
they almost like front load these things so they can't
That's it.
fail.
Yeah.
Because you're like, wow, it's everything that I love right now.
Mm.
And sometimes it works. Sometimes you go very much a product of its time.
Well, for example, one of the more notable Bond girls from, I believe it was one of Brosnan's films, was Denise Richards.
Yes, the scientist.
Yeah.
What was she? A nuclear physicist?
Something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think she's that good an actress, but I think she's a brilliant Bond girl because she's gorgeous.
Okay, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, what do you want out of a Bond girl?
Yeah.
Do you want a pin-up girl?
Yeah.
Do you want someone who can act? Could we have both? Not all the time.
No, but I think and I think that's where the tone of this series of films is in the same way the tone from the Daniel Craig films was a little bit more grounded, a little bit more gritty. So they gave their Bond girls more of a multi-dimensional character.
100%. And you're familiar with Bullet Train.
Yes.
You know Olbo was in that.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
I can see James Bond, not that kind of tone, but that kind of move. You know what I mean? Like I think it's going to be that kind of James Bond.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, so now you're trying to think of who's going to fit in that.
Who's going to?
Because it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be like the classy, sophisticated. I think it's going to be a bit more. I think it's going to be a bit more blockbustery Bond.
Yeah,
I do. I just see this guy like, oh, that great scene that goes for 4 minutes where they fly through 4 windows, and then he's like, haha, I'm Bond. You know, I think it's going to be quippy.
Yeah, it is, and I think that's it. Is they're going to lean into that jokey, more jovial kind of Bond energy.
And when I think about it, I can only think of one Bond girl. And I know I joke around a lot on the pod, but this is the serious. I'm going to put this out there.
Give it to me.
I think it's going to be Anna Kendrick. I'm going to think it's not going to be like a sex pot Bond. I think it's going to be a little bookwormy accountant girl who's more like quippy. Do you know? Who like, it's because here's my thing. All right.
Okay, give it to me.
Not so much Anna Kendrick, but I'm using her to explain what I think they're going to cast.
My mind is open.
I think it's going to be a Bond girl where Bond at no point sees her as someone that he's going to have sex with.
Yes.
But they're going to be like back and forth quippy on this adventure. And at the end, there's going to be a mutual respect. And it's going to be a big brother, little sister role.
Ooh,
Do you know? Like, I think it's going to be more that where it's
shake it up.
Yeah, no, but I think that's what it's going to be more like.
Okay.
Yeah, like Bond, the protector, male for the female. I think they're just going to twist the formula a little bit because it's a new generation. Yeah.
Now, look, I'm going to piss some people off with this, but I don't like Anna Kendrick, and I don't really get why people think she's good. It's weird though because I thought she was quite good in Up in the Air with.
We're going way back. Yeah.
Yeah.
George Clooney.
Exactly. Yeah. I thought she was quite strong in that film, but I don't know why. But every time I see her on film, I'm like, oh, there's Anna Kendrick pretending to be someone else in front of a camera.
Dude, I get it.
Yeah.
I have so many actors like that where I like, at no fault of their own, they're probably great people. They work hard at their craft, but I just go like, you don't do anything for me. Like Channing Tatum. I shit on this guy all the time, right? And I have no problem with Channing Tatum. I watch the the Hateful Eight.
Yep.
As soon as he pops his head out of the cellar, I'm like, well, that's Channing Tatum.
There he is.
I'm no longer immersed in the movie. To me, Channing Tatum looks like a Jewish guy got a clay golem to come alive for a as in got a rig. But I look at
I see
now.
you,
Now I'm getting on the physical appearance, which has got nothing to do with his acting ability.
No,
which is super lazy criticism. Well, fuck you, Channing Tatum.
Yeah, fuck you, Channing.
No, he seems like an alright guy.
No, but
don't ruin my movies.
And I think that's it. Is like I'm fine having Anna Kendrick in a film.
Yeah,
Doesn't bother me.
Just don't put her in Bond.
But just don't
put her in the shit I like.
Yeah.
You can do your pitch perfects.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't watch them that much. Yeah, I don't watch them.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
But I just feel as though I love that idea of maybe the Bond girl. Maybe.
Sorry, we're getting flagged down by Colby. What's that, Colby? You want us to tell us your 5 favorite Anna Kendrick films? No, I was just putting him on the spot.
All right, cool.
You hate me, man.
I was like, I'm waiting for it now. Like, I want to know.
If you just rattled them off, though,
Yeah, I would
have
been very impressed. But I love the idea of having that Bond girl that isn't necessarily just there for the pure.
But you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't think it's going to be the Bond. I think we're going to see a Bond girl like we've never seen a Bond girl before. I think it's going to be more of the like protector.
Yes.
They're like the brother sister relationship where it's like we love each other, there's a respect, but it's like I hate you, like
there's
like
a quip because
buddy cop formula.
Well, see, this is what I was thinking is I'd love to see in the same way in GoldenEye there's 006.
GoldenEye. Yeah.
You know, it'd be cool to see maybe
006. Sorry, can we talk about Adrian? Was it Adrian?
His name's Alec.
Alec. Can we talk about Alec for a second?
We can talk about
I think he's one of the best. I think he's one of the best Bond villains.
He's absolutely one of the best Bond villains. Man, fucking, oh my God, I can't remember his name.
Sean Ben.
Sean Ben.
Sorry, like, don't tell me. I'm like, Sean Ben. No, but yeah, he's so good in that.
So brilliant. And I love the dynamic between him and James at the start of the film where there's this, they're like working off each other and there's like a little bit of comedy, but there's still serious.
007.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And I because I know
for
that
England, James.
Yeah, exactly.
No, Alec, for me.
Because I think you know there's you know every time that the conversation comes up about picking a new Bond, someone somewhere is like, what if we did a female Bond? And I'm like,
hard pass.
Sorry,
hard pass.
Bond isn't a girl.
Yeah, not sexist. Literally, like, here's my thing, and I've always maintained this. Is like James Bond is a creation that exists.
Yes.
And if you want to make a wicked spy female-centric film, like do it. Get some writers, make a thing, make a brand new film.
Whole new
30 years from now, be up to movie 20.
Yeah.
My thing is just don't gender bend stuff that doesn't need to.
Just insert it.
I think we need to stop doing that. Like, it's just lazy because to me, you're just piggybacking off brand recognition.
And I feel as
that's
though
all it is. That's all it is. It's just easier to have Jane Bond than it is to create a new woman.
And it almost feels more sexist to just insert a woman into this character rather than go to the effort and get the talent organized to write a compelling, interesting, funny, watchable female James Bond.
It's also not practical. I mean, James Bond sleeps around a lot. Yeah. And yes, it's deplorable. But if a woman James Bond was to do that, there's also a risk of pregnancy. It's just there's just logistical things that to me I'm like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. I'm like either like lean into the whole like she's a woman and then all that. Okay, here's something I hate. This is my one criticism with female action movies. Because I'm like all for them. When I watch a female do the thing where they climb up a guy, wrap their legs around his head, shift their body weight, flip him over, beat them, I'm like, fuck all those guys up.
Yeah.
You go, girl.
Get him.
When I watch a woman take a punch straight in the jaw from a man who's 6'2" with these cannon, and then they just go and wipe the blood off their lip and they're ready for more. That's what I'm like, just acknowledge the fact that we're built differently.
Yeah.
Have the women kick all the men's ass.
Yeah.
Just do it in a way where I go, it's believable. That's what I don't like. You're shoehorning them into a male action fantasy role.
Yes.
The same way I don't want to watch, I don't want to see a Barbie movie called Barb. I don't know. That's not a man's name. Maybe Brent.
Barbarian.
Yeah, Barbarian. I wouldn't mind seeing a Barbarian film.
Because that, and like I think that's it as well. Is like you know we obviously we want. Well, I suppose it's weird because it's like Bond has always done its own thing and it's had its audience and that's sort of where it needs to be and that's where it's strongest and that's where it resides.
Yes.
And I think the more they lean into that, the better. Now, I'm getting some calls here from our little producer. So what we're going to do is we're just going to wrap this segment up, and I think we're going to play a little game next. This is where the pens came from. I'm sure people are like, where the fuck did they get those pens?
I think Colby's about to go all jigsaw on us because he wants to play a game.
We'll see you after this. All right, Colby, we've got a little game to play now, and our boy Colb there behind the camera is going to run the show for us. So take us through it, Colb.
All right. So earlier today, you asked me, I want to do a game about top 10 James Bond films.
Yes.
So I've gone onto Rotten Tomatoes and gotten the top 10 critic rated ones.
Mhm.
But to make it a bit more fun, I'll get you to try rank them from audience ratings.
Okay.
And if you like, you've got your pens there. Write your predicted ratings on them once you've finished or as you go through.
All right,
We've got a board,
board,
things, and some pins if you still got them there.
We do have the pins here. Bang.
All right.
And then we've got this thing.
Those have cards with each of the top 10 and their release dates.
Okay.
We put work into it this time.
Yeah, this is
That's a lot of preparation. I'm impressed, Colby.
Gangster. I'm very,
2 hours,
very
man.
proud. All right. Yeah, so we've got a bunch of Bond films here.
Want to read them out to us?
All right, so we've got.
And I think. Sorry, before you do read them
Yes.
out, I think you should read each one in a different Bond's accent.
Oh man.
There you go.
All right.
Sean Connery, go.
The spy who loved me.
Roger Moore.
I don't even know what his accent sounds like off the top of my head. Dr. No.
Timothy Dalton.
Casino Royale.
Pierce Brosnan.
No Time to Die. I don't know why he was so cockney just then. I just went way off the deep end.
In there.
Huh?
Keep going. Aaron Taylor Johnson. No, Pierce Brosnan.
We just did Pierce Brosnan.
Aaron Taylor Johnson then.
Goldeneye. Skyfall. 007. Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Austin Powers, go.
Goldfinger. Yeah, baby, yeah.
Do I?
Thunderball and From Russia with Love. Beautiful. All right, cool. So we got a nice stack of films there. And look, I'll be honest.
Just before we do
They are the
talk
bangers.
about From Russia with Love,
Yeah.
is the Russian-Ukrainian war still going? I'm not up to date.
It is absolutely underway.
Okay, just because that'll influence my
Your
my
pick there.
opinions on the.
All right, cool. Sweet. All right, Colby. So we've got our 10, and we now have to order them.
Yes. So order top of the board to bottom of the board.
Yep.
You can pin it after you've decided it wants to go.
Okay.
1
top of the
to
morning.
10.
Let's spread them out here so we can just see what we're fucking working with.
All right.
So
Look at
what
that.
do we think is going to be? And this is by audience score.
Audience
So we're
score.
talking about the absolute best film, audience-wise, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The highest rated
audience
by the
opinion.
audience.
I think that'll be the top.
You reckon Skyfall for number 1?
I think that'll be the top. Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
I'm actually thinking it strategically. I think I get that there's a bunch of classics.
Yeah,
I think if you really think about the modern audience, the people who have access to the internet,
exactly.
I think
Yeah.
Skyfall, would be the top. But I mean, that's just me trying to influence you.
See,
Like an argument.
I honestly feel like I'm glad you put the dates on these
Yeah.
because that's context that's really important.
Yeah, it is.
I almost want to say Casino Royale, but I feel like in 2006, the internet as a platform, while it was absolutely there,
Oh well, things get updated.
yeah, it wasn't like a mainstay yet. But I feel as though Skyfall or Casino Royale would probably be
I think
up
that.
there.
I think that. Look, here's my thing. Casino Royale is the better of the two,
Yes,
in my opinion.
Yep, I would agree with that.
Skyfall is the better artistically.
Yes.
I think if you're going to get on your computer and go, oh, this is the best one, Skyfall is going to be the one that you go through that effort for.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think that's
Do
it.
you know what I mean? I just think
you
like
create an account.
The guys who actually drive the internet chatter,
Yep.
are going to be like Skyfall is the greatest Bond because it had intellectually it's like they're those guys.
Yeah.
No offense to you by the way, but
No.
like go outside, like,
Touch grass.
yeah, touch grass.
All right. Well, let's start with that. Let's
You comfortable?
pin.
Do you want to
Yeah.
put it there? Yeah.
Let's pin.
You got to risk it to get the biscuit,
You
or if you're on a
gotta.
diet, a Triscuit.
Ooh.
There you go. It's official. No take backsies.
Also, With that board, how are you arranging? Are you arranging it from left to right, downwards, or are you just going top to
I think
bottom?
we're actually going to go like the Japanese do in their manga novels and go from right to bottom.
left.
Yeah, to left. No, we'll keep it traditional. I'm also not familiar with manga.
I think what I'll do is we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yep, sounds good to me.
All right, cool.
Fun little fact while we're doing it.
Go on.
Skyfall, funny enough, is also the same thing that Chicken Little screams to the villagers when he says the sky is falling. Moving on.
Fun facts with Scott Kunesch.
What a vague tidbit.
I have ADHD and my brain goes places. All right.
All right. So now this has kind of thrown me because you almost want to be like Casino Royale 2.
No. See, I think I know where you're going. My thing is right now. There's going to be the purists.
Yeah.
Where it's going to be a very like Dr. No
is
shit. But it was like it was the original. It started James. There is no James Bond without like it's. You know what I mean? Like it's just. I think there's going to be a very strong argument for one of these early Bonds.
Early films will be up there.
Now, Dr. No, I get that the gravitational pull going. It's the first one. It would have to be Goldfinger.
True.
It would have to because essentially Goldfinger is Dr. No polished. Like it's like we've
figured it out.
And I'm just saying it by that logic, it has to be Goldfinger.
Well, I just want to group them by. So like these are your Sean Connerys.
Surprisingly, there's a lot of Connerys.
There's a lot of Connery, but I think that's what you're saying as well. Is there's going to be those purists who are going to vote hard for the OGs. We've got No Time to Die and Casino Royale.
Made it in the list.
Yeah, but I think that's also
No License to Kill.
But I think that's a symptom of 2021.
Yeah,
and the internet being such a huge part of film rating and film reviewing.
I don't think it's a controversial thing to say that the internet has never been more prevalent than it is today.
Exactly.
I'll interject here. These are picked from the critic scores, so it could be a high on critic, but it could be low
that's
audience.
Right. We're not considering audience scores. But do you know what? Critic and audience. Look, I know audiences love Skyfall. I know critics love Skyfall.
Yeah.
I feel pretty comfortable with that.
Yeah, I think
it's
that's
not
a
going to
strong.
Embarrass us.
It was unanimously enjoyed.
Yeah, it'll be
it
up
was
there.
strong. It was absolutely a strong Bond outing.
It's also the highest grossing Bond.
Because now it's weird because we're left with a few of these kind of outliers. It's like we've got Craig and we've got Sean Connery. So just for a bit of an update for everyone at home, we've got Dr. No, Goldfinger, From Russia with Love, and Thunderball are our Sean Connery picks. Mm-hmm. Casino Royale and No Time to Die are the two Daniel Craig ones. And then we've just got these three outliers. We've got
GoldenEye, which is the lone Pierce Brosnan.
Yep. We've got Her Majesty's Secret Service, which I'm fairly sure was George Lazenby. Yep. And then we have The Spy Who Loved Me was, of course, Roger Moore.
Now, we all know on Her Majesty's Secret Service is in there because everyone loves the contrary.
Yeah.
So there's just enough of those kind of guys going like, it's actually a very underrated Bond.
Underrated little number here.
It's a pretty shit movie. All right. So it shouldn't be here, but we'll tolerate it.
So, okay. So I feel as though Her Majesty's Secret Service is probably going to be fairly low on this list.
Be high. I think it'll be frustratingly high.
Oh.
It's the kind of, that's the thing. It's the kind of movie, right, where there's only one.
Yep.
It used to be so like unanimously, the majority was like, yeah, not a good movie. Mm. Then what happens is it's like everything gets cool because you rebel and you, don't get me wrong, it has redeeming qualities. It's not like this, but it's like, it is the worst one.
It's cool because it's the one no one likes.
Yeah, and it's like, there's always that factor. And I get it. I do it a little bit. Like, we're all guilty of it. We kind of like pick our lane and then defend it. And
so you're like, this is kind of Bond's cult classic.
Yeah. Like, I just think it's like, if you don't really have an opinion about Bond, throw your hat in the ring with Magic. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
when you default.
Yeah, it's like there's enough people like get in there. Let's just a united front.
All right. Now, what do we just think is just going to be straight after Skyfall?
I honestly think it's I think it's Goldfinger.
I think Goldfinger's pretty strong.
I think it's Goldfinger personally.
Yep.
I think you were going for From Russia with Love.
I was.
Which is the second Connery, isn't it?
I think it is the second
train
in
fight
line.
And stuff.
Yes.
It's also again, great film. I think Goldfinger out of the Connerys is unanimously considered the best.
Yeah, I think that's.
So I'm just going with that. I'm just going with like if I think critical and audience, it sounds like the most beloved.
See, I think I'm getting too personal.
Mm-hmm.
I need to remove myself.
I'm thinking purely strategically. I want to win this thing.
I need to think more strategic. Yes. Okay. I would say. Oh, see, it's hard because the Dr. No energy is that like I'm a purist. I'm a true Bond.
Have you watched
fan.
Dr. No recently?
No, it's been
also. Do you remember the bit where there's those guys? Do three blind mice, like, yeah, like, so it's like, I just feel like it can't be
some odd choices.
It can't be that high up.
They hadn't quite figured it out yet.
Three blind mice, like, weird. I was like, are we doing Bond? What have I walked into? Like, I was so confused.
Yeah, and I think, okay, no, you've made a very valid.
Yeah, like, it's got flaws. Whereas Goldfinger, I think, is like
they'd hit their
peak
stride.
Connery. Like, I think they peaked and then they dropped.
All right, let's go Goldfinger 2. Goldfinger 2.
I think I feel good about it, but again, like it's a shot in the dark. I don't know what the audience thinks.
It's a bold choice.
I wouldn't presume to think what other people think. Now it does get hard. Yeah.
Now it gets tricky, and I'm gonna just take a big swing right now. I think it's Goldeneye.
Okay, so here's where I get conflicted. For me, I love Timothy Dalton.
You do.
Pierce Brosnan is my Bond.
Mm-hmm.
I think Casino Royale and Skyfall are like some of the best Bond films. But Goldeneye, for me, will always be undeniably the greatest Bond film ever made. Like, for me, it's the one where I go like,
ticks all the boxes.
I love Goldeneye. I think it's the most fun I've ever had with a Bond. I think it holds up so well.
Good villains. Good gadgets.
Even the fact, even when he's driving in the car and that horrendous music comes on, and it threatens to just ruin the whole film. It still somehow manages to win. Like, it just goes straight back into being good.
Just the thing I love about that scene is he has already got a girl in the car, and then he like starts
trying to hit on another girl with some random woman who's like, "I'm going to run you off the road." He's like, "Yeah, I'll try and fuck you."
It's so good.
Do you know what I love the most about Pierce Brosnan's Bond?
What's that?
Is that he's like a 15-year-old trying to act like he had sex.
Yeah.
Like, all these languages, like, so color linguist. And,
I'm a cunning linguist.
Yeah, like, it's just all these innuendos where he's like, "No, I've just come here to check the figures." And I'm like, calm down, dude. Like,
relax.
Yeah, it's like, have you, like, go.
You see him on the top of things.
Yeah,
you're
like, go beat one off. Like,
you just need to fucking cool off a bit here.
You're a bit toy.
You need your post-nut clarity.
Anyway, let's chuck it up, Goldeneye.
Goldeneye.
Because I'll roll the dice on that film.
Yeah.
I fucking love that. I might go home and watch that tonight.
It's on the cards.
I'm going to lie. On the top.
Goldeneye 3.
Cool. All right, so fourth, I'm going to say Casino Royale.
Yeah. No, I think I
cool. I
totally,
love that we got there pretty quick.
I totally agree.
I think that would be fourth. Yeah,
Casino
that has to be up there.
Is strong. Can
I
you pass it to me, please?
I actually think you might find it's higher than this, but
yeah. See, I think this might be a bit of a sleeper.
This is. I think Casino Royale is such a great.
It's
fucking 27 minutes too long, and I fucking love it. Like, that movie gets to a point where it should end, and then it's like, oh no, wait, we're healing our balls and going.
We're going again.
Oh, now we're in the bloody.
We're in Venice.
Yeah, and now the building's coming down. Oh, that guy's got a black thing on his glasses.
Oh no, she died.
Yeah,
yeah, and I think as well, it's like
she goes out like Kurt Russell in Poseidon. If you've seen that film, you know the reference.
Oh, I have seen that film, and I do know the reference.
It's pretty brutal.
All right, what's next then? I think it's going to be a classic. I think it has to be a classic.
Oh, do you know what? No, do you know what? I think it's Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah, it's like that.
No, it just feels like the fifth one. It feels like it's not going to be up there. It's not going to be down. I think it's going to be higher than we want to admit it would be.
Because
audience-wise and critically.
Well, I think that's it as well. Is like I think.
Oh, but then you got But the thing is, then you got From Russia with Love, a bona fide fucking classic.
Yeah.
You got The Spy Who Loved Me, a bona fide fucking classic.
Yes.
You got Thunderball, a bona fide fucking classic. I'm going to keep saying it, so I'm going to stop saying it. No, but like that's the thing.
Because I think the way it's kind of structured now with what we have left on the table is kind of like that. It's like you got From Russia with Love and The Spy Who Loved Me, who are like.
All right. If I was to go gut instinct,
yes,
I would say Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah, I think I'd agree.
Yeah.
But the reason I agree with that is it's like I feel as though it's lower down on the list because not as many people would have seen it, but the people who love it would have loved it enough to rate it really highly.
I think in my life experience, that is objectively, they're the films I think of that kind of cover everyone. Like, you got Skyfall and Casino Royale, which I know they're the new ones, they're the new kids on the block, but they are undeniably monster hits, great fucking films.
Yep.
Daniel Craig has 2 great ones in 5 films.
Yep.
GoldenEye is just a bloody classic. N64, we all loved it.
Yeah.
And Goldfinger is just the Bond film.
It's a
Bond it's Sean film. Connery's Bond. Yeah. The rest are a bit, I don't know.
It's the definitive. Yeah. All right. Her Majesty's Secret Service. We'll put that in at number 5.
It's never happened to the other guy. All right. That's Lazenbury says that. All right.
Changed his last name. You've changed his last name like 6 times.
Yeah, do you know what? It's fluid.
Lazenby?
Just like our
Lazenberry?
genders. Nah, let's not get political. All right.
All right, what else we got? We got Dr. No, Thunderball, From Russia with Love. See, I feel as though it's going to be one of these.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's from... Oh, you know what? I kind of want to give more some love.
Some Spy Who Loved Me?
No, because the thing is, to me, The Spy Who Loved Me is the Roger Moore film in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Like, I think
in the same way Goldfinger is
so
that.
I feel like if
Yes.
if Goldfinger is Sean Connery's, this is Moore's, it has to be above Russia with Love. As much as I love For Russia with Love, there is some that drags in the beginning.
It does.
It takes a while to get going.
And then there's a jetpack.
Yeah. It's like when you're cooking spaghetti bolognese, you're waiting for the water to boil. Until it's boiling, we're just watching a pot. That's kind of how that feels
It's
to me.
boring. All right, Spy Who Loved Me at number 6. All right, we're down to our last
Now I would
4.
piggyback it with From Russia with Love.
Yeah.
I would
yes.
just straight
Just
away,
straight
I would
up.
monkey on its back.
From Russia with Love. We're left with 2 Sean Connery and a Craig.
Okay, can I preface this by saying I think No Time to Die is the bottom.
You can preface this. Okay.
I honestly, I don't. There's no way I can see it having marinated long enough to be higher than any of the others.
Yeah.
It's also a controversial film, and I only think it's here because it's new.
There goes Aaron Taylor Johnson.
And do you know what? I think this is a great example of filmmaking in general. Is that despite our best efforts, problems happen. And that was a great metaphor, and I like you bringing that visually in for the
There we
audience.
go.
So,
Now they can feel
All
us.
planned.
All planned, all part of it. All right, Dr. No and Thunderball. We've just got 2 left. I'm going to tell you where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. No and then Thunderball.
Yeah, I think
Dr. No,
Dr. No being the
8.
first, something about it just... And do you know what? Thunderball, and I actually feel good about this. Thunderball, for as good as it is, I don't like fucking Thunderball.
No, I think it's a very forgettable
I
Bond
think
film.
it's a very boring movie.
But
I
I
like
think-
the jetpack.
Yeah, but I feel as though with these
Dr. No, then Thunderball.
Dr. No then Thunderball, but I feel as though the thing with Thunderball is just like because it was a Sean Connery Bond film, it gets a lot of sort of undeserved love.
Yeah, I think everyone's having a good time. There's
Yeah,
like
that's
4
it.
movies deep.
Yeah, people were just
I love these James
frothing
Bond
on it.
films.
Yeah. What's not to like?
And I mean, the bikini scene in Dr. No is just iconic.
Well, that's what
They redid it in Casino Royale.
But I mean, like that's what set the tone.
Mm.
Is like, all right, cool. We need a super hot Bond girl. For
who would have thought? Hot women, put them in your film.
surprisingly, sex sells. You never would have thunk it.
If Colgate would just get behind it, they would sell some toothpaste. I'm telling you.
Oh man, I need to just readjust this real quick so we get some better spacing. All right, so for everyone at home, make it nice and clear for you.
This is our list.
We got Skyfall, Goldfinger, GoldenEye, Casino Royale, Her Majesty's Secret Service, The Spy Who Loved Me, From Russia with Love, Dr. No, Thunderball, and No Time to Die.
Now, fun fact, this is actually quite a high-stakes game because Colby has pledged to give us $100 each for every one that we get correct.
This is going to be an expensive day for you, Colby.
No, it's not. You only got 1 in the correct spot.
Wow.
I'm disappointed
We
in
are...
us.
Yeah, I honestly thought it would have been a little more even.
I
thought it would have been like
4 or
5. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so-
we have no idea.
You got 1 correct from the audience, and if we were going by critic, you got 1 correct as well.
Wow.
But they're different?
I'm not cussing them. Well, I'm only talking about the audience at the moment.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Sweet.
This is very interesting. All right, so I'm going to get my pen and I'm going to put like a little 1, 2, 3, 4
Yes.
on them as we go.
All right, so the number 1 audience film is Casino Royale with 90%.
Wow. Do you know what? I love it though because
Yeah.
Casino Royale slaps.
1.
All right, number 2 for audience is what you got correct. Goldfinger with a 89%.
Makes sense. Sorry, these aren't very big, but just,
Yeah.
use your eyes, guys.
We'll zoom in.
The third one is No Time to Die with 88.
No, that deeply upsets me.
Wow.
Yes.
But you see,
With critics, it was lower.
So
Yeah.
I know that the audience is essentially the driving, like the lifeblood behind
Yes.
our podcast, but you're all idiots and I want to alienate you.
I disagree with your
Yeah,
choice.
that's weird to be. All right, podium finish.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay,
let's do it.
number 4 is Casino Royale with 86.
Okay. All right.
And that is also the same. That's the same ranking as
We've already done that as number one. Are we still
No,
doing
Skyfall. Skyfall.
Yeah, okay.
I'm reading the wrong thing. Yeah,
I was,
Skyfall.
I was very confused.
Yeah, no, it's Skyfall.
Sweet.
5. Where are we?
Love how many
You know
times
what,
you're
though?
going over these lines.
We were kind of close.
Yeah, that's it. They're like in
Except
the
for No Time
ballpark.
to Die, which I was so wrong about.
Yeah.
I'm like, that'll
5.
be lost.
Yeah, we
5
fucked that up.
is From Russia with Love with 84%.
Interesting.
Oh, for a second there, I was like, the fuck are you writing? What number is that? But you
Yeah.
brought it back nicely.
I'm a lefty.
Number 6 is GoldenEye with 83.
Golden
Oh.
I don't know the words.
Number 7 is
Melody was
Dr.
right.
No with 82.
Doctor No.
82.
How can you say no when it's such a yes?
That was Number 8 is what? No, you got 2 correct.
Yeah, we did.
We're better than we thought.
$200. Yeah, The Spy Who Loved Me at 77%.
Nice. I knew that was an 8.
Wait, no, it's not. You got that at 6. No, I'm wrong. I'm reading my cards.
Yeah.
I'm done. Thunderball is number 9 at 73%.
Ah, we got that right.
Nice. So we got 3 right.
I'm brain dead.
Did we?
Yeah, we got 3
Yeah.
right. We killed it.
No,
How did we get
We're like
3 right?
psychics.
no, you
Which
didn't.
3 have we got right?
Well,
You got 2.
it's just debatable.
All right. The last one, according to critics, audience, I meant,
Majesty's Secret
His Majesty's
Service.
Secret Service with 81%.
So that's the least-
with 64%.
And you know what?
Audience score.
64%.
Now that you say it, it's like, yeah, because it's the worst one. But
Yeah.
and here's me going, oh, I think they're gonna. There you go.
All right.
Shit.
Well, you know what? I can't say I'm happy, but I am educated. So.
Yeah, we fucking learned something new.
Right.
And like I feel as though this changes so many things about like our perspective on Bond and what the audience wants.
It just reminds me that I share this planet with a vast array of people who have very different opinions than I do.
Very different tastes.
And they're not wrong, but they're also incorrect.
Because it's funny. It's now something I just want to point out here. What do we? Yeah, we got time. One thing I want to point out is like Casino Royale is 1 and Goldfinger is 2. So you've got.
I don't hate that though.
I really like that.
That makes sense to me.
So do I.
Because like I said, I think Casino Royale is better than Scott. Like to me personally, I'm like that made me very happy.
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
Yes. Because I think it's like where Bond went and where Bond came from. And I'm glad that they share those 1 and 2 spots.
I say this all the time. Like if you haven't seen Casino Royale in a long time because you think, it's a James Bond film, just watch it as a film. Like it is such a fucking
good.
film. Like,
It's good
Casino
spy
Royale
thriller.
is so fun.
Yeah.
And it's too long.
Mads Mikkelsen.
And his little bloody eye.
Oh man. God, so Bond.
Forget pink eye. He's got red eye. It's so good. It's red eye, blue dragon, Yu-Gi-Oh.
You got it.
We don't have to go
We
there.
don't
We
have to
don't have to go there.
Why not? Let's go there. Because I think this is a bit of a. Now I'm pissed off at myself that I didn't push for Her Majesty's Secret Service to be lower.
Yeah.
5 was a bold choice, but I think our thinking was fair.
It was me trying to outsmart the system.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think we were trying to think about
Trying
it.
to
from
intellectualize this thing. And you
Yeah.
know what? You're right. We should have gone. We should have been like, look, as an audience,
Yeah.
what do I love?
what do I love? And it's not Her Majesty's Secret Service. Like, what was it? 64%? 64%. That's a low audience score.
Now, is on Her Majesty's Secret Service, is that your least favorite Bond?
Probably. I mean, it's the one I know the least.
Yeah, like it is. Like I get the Defenders,
Yeah.
but it's like it is it is such a
Forgettable Bond film.
Like he has no charisma.
No. George Lazenby was a very boring kind of Bond actor.
Yeah.
Didn't have anywhere near the like suave and charm. And that's why I thought it was weird because that's where they went straight after Connery.
Like I honestly think Fran Drescher would have been a better choice than George Lazenby.
Fran Drescher.
Like, oh my
I'd
god,
love to see that Bond.
Mr. Blofeld.
Yeah. What are you doing?
But yeah, no, it's just I get it. They were like, we need to pick someone else, but you just come off Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Like, we'll pick this no-named Australian actor who doesn't act. He's a model.
Yeah, he's just good looking.
We'll bet it all on black.
And it didn't go well.
And he turned down for Luffy. Like, they were going to give him more, but he was like, "Oh, I'm done.
I'm finished with this."
He was like,
I'm glad.
Why would I want to do more and have money and fame and exposure?
Who needs that?
But he did do a great movie called The Man from Hong Kong, where he plays the bad guy.
Was it good?
It's great. It's an Australian exploitation film where the man from Hong Kong comes to Australia, fucks people up like Bruce Lee, and then he fights George Lazenby and he gets on fire. And you guys watch it. It's a great B movie exploitation.
Done.
Really fun film.
All right, I'll take that. What year?
Glad you asked. It's like 1974.
Okay. Yeah, so it's still
and it actually has a great opening song, which was like a chart topper for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, when you hear the actual song, actually, Colby,
Yo.
can you look up the opening song for The Man from Hong Kong?
The Man from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Do we risk playing it over the end of the podcast? And
Yeah. Can we
I'd
actually
mute it underneath. I'd mute. It would be muted. You wouldn't hear any or speaking.
Yeah, but if I just put it over the top.
Yeah. Can we just don't sue us? Just let us play your music.
What's it called again?
So go The Man from Hong Kong and then go opening music, and it's like the guy's on a paraglider thing flying, and the music's like, I'm up in the sky. I can't remember the word. It's been a minute. Oh wait, it's so catchy. I was like, how
I'll
is
take
this?
that.
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh, fuck it. Let's end with some music. We're not big enough to get
and it is
demonetized
still
yet.
Bond adjacent because it has George Lazenby. And
will
you're
take
right. I
it.
probably have said his name so many different times.
You have. It's been a cacophony of different. I think.
To
Colby,
be fair, this ain't apple juice, and get off my back.
Colby, if we can we get a supercut of
Here's the song.
Paul
Wait.
saying George Lazenby?
Yes.
Did I say Paul? Scott saying George Lazenby.
Wait, here we go. This is an absolute banger.
Can I say it?
You like your James Bond music. This is Man from Hong Kong. I don't know if this is making exciting podcasts. We'll keep talking until the lyrics kick in.
That's it. We'll keep it rolling.
Can we get a microphone on it so that we can hear it?
No. I'll put it over the top. It'll
here
look
we go.
good. Sick.
Actually, I might stop it here because we might get done by.
We'll get copyright struck.
Come at me. I've
True.
got money for days.
Let's go.
I'll fight you. I'll take everyone to
We
court.
can just mute it and we'll have you just silent.
Yeah, that's it. Perfect.
House of Mouse, Disney.
Come at me.
Yeah. What do you honestly have that can top what I have?
Come on, Bob Iger.
My dad owns a tire shop.
I'll take it. All right. Well, thanks for joining us and thanks for coming
having me.
along,
Thanks
Scott.
for having
And I think we did well.
I think out of a 10, I think this episode went 007 out of 10.
Ooh.
Wasn't great. Wasn't worth the commitment to the joke.
I respect the commitment to the joke nonetheless. Thank you so much for joining us.
No worries. Cheers.
WA Film Co.
And as James Bond would say, good thank you for that.
On a top.
On a top.
On a top. We'll leave it there. Thanks so much, guys. See you later. Take it easy.
Make good choices.